Yo, what is up, y'all? This is DPS Podcast episode number 10. Sorry, we are running a little late. Your boy Slow Mo here was trying to secure that PlayStation 5 and failed once again. Thanks again to all the scalpers out there and the bots out there ruining all the gamers who actually want to play games time. You guys are straight garbage, and I hope you get diarrhea in traffic. Anyway. We're going to have a great show regardless. We got, of course, Mr. Gaming Forte here. What's up, Forte?
Yo, what is up, man? This has been a pretty ridiculous weekend. Guess what? The weekend hasn't even gotten here. Call of Duty comes out tomorrow. Next gen systems are here this week. Man, it's a lot. It's not a lot of news, but it's still a lot of stuff that we can go over, man. So shout out to you, man. Glad to be on your channel for this big occasion, because guess what? When Microsoft announced Bethesda being part of the Xbox Game Studios, it was on my channel. Now you get the big creme de la creme. You get to talk about these consoles on your channel. So shout out, bro. What's up?
What's up, man? And we got a guest here. Let me do the proper introduction for this man. He needs a proper introduction.
Now, if this isn't good,
this is good. So there's no follow up. This is going to be good.
I'm just going to let y'all know that I said I wanted to do this.
Okay. You got a disclaimer on his intro?
I'm going to put a disclaimer on my intro. I need don't talk and don't interrupt, okay? I know that's hard for you because you love interrupting people. I want you to try something which is like being quiet. I want you to try that.
For the next minute and a half, I will be quiet, because we all know that you are very short-winded.
Let's get it.
You know what? Anyway. Tonight we have a guest who needs no introduction, but he's going to get one anyway. I'd like to introduce a gamer of all platforms, a man who rubs elbows with developers and gaming executives alike. I mean, the man has lunch with people others can't even interview. A man who's been a guest on IGN Unlocked, the man who never misses a workout and whose love for the looter shooter Destiny is second to none. Introducing the CEO of the gaming website lordsofgaming.net, co-host of the Last Word podcast, and host of the ever popular Iron Lords podcast, Mr. Lord Cognito. Thank you for joining us on the DPS podcast.
Bro, I felt the vibes. I got the goose. Yo, he did his thing, Forte. He did his thing, Forte.
The heartstrings were pulled, so you got it.
Bro, I got my warm-up on right now. I got coming out the tunnel, son.
I'm ready. That this man did it, because I don't even know if mine would have been that good.
Yeah, no, it sure would not have been that good. I had to emulate the best introducing host ever, Lord Cognito. I'm like, look, he always hooking everyone else up, making them feel extra special when they come on his shows. I'm like, let me give back a little bit. Let me give him a nice intro.
Man.
I hope you appreciate it, man.
Oh, that's bro. I appreciate it, man. It always feels good to, one, not host and just be a guest. That's number one. And two, you my bros, man. Slow and Forte, just seeing you guys, develop what you guys are developing is super dope. I'm here to support, and I'm feeling it, man. Like I said, Leo Mental talking about 7 out of 10. Stop hating.
Oh my God, I need more smoothness from you, Slow Mo. Look, man, I'm kind of a grimy dude. I try to get it smooth.
Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need.
What you need to hear.
That's my God, man. Salute. It's a glorious. I'm at the DPS podcast, next gen. Yo, I'm hyped, man. I can't wait. Let's talk about it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, man.
Yes, we do. But like before we get into that, I want to kind of there's another topic, something that came up over the past week since we last had DPS. I want to kind of talk about it real quick before we get into the real deep stuff, which is going to be next gen. If we just go into next gen, we probably going to end up not even talking about it at all. So I want to talk about Mass Effect Legendary Edition. That was announced on N7 Day, which was last Saturday. BioWare and EA have been working on this remaster of the Mass Effect trilogy, Mass Effects 1, 2, and 3. And it's apparently going to be coming out early next year. So I'm thinking, because the fiscal year ends in March, that it's probably going to come out before March of 2021. But how do you guys feel about Mass Effect Legendary Edition coming out?
Who got it?
Go ahead, King. You
Go
first.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Cognito.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, this is the most, not best kept secret that we've known for so long. And to finally get the announcement, we know they've been cooking it up for a long time. All the insiders have been talking about it. I think it was Jeff Grubb had put the latest stuff out right beforehand. And look, we all know where Mass Effect lies in the pantheon of great games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Up near the top where it belongs.
Exactly. When it comes to trilogies, brother, there's few that did it. That's one of my games of the decade. And like to see it, to hear the announcement. And the funny thing is so cool because you could tell it's such a following when the Mass Effect 1 guys are trying to fight the Mass Effect 2 guys, and the Mass Effect 3 guys are like, yo, but we had the best multiplayer. So it just goes to show you, like, the series is so revered.
Wait, there's Mass Effect 3 guys? I didn't know
they are actually Mass Effect 3 guys. I couldn't believe it. Like they were
like Stadia fans. They're just like you're like here and there, occasionally one pops up out of the cracks of the pavement or something, just to say that we exist. That's crazy.
Yo, it's real. I will say this: Mass Effect 3 though, that PvP, that co-op multiplayer was really good. It was really
It was, yeah.
A lot of money was spent in there.
A lot of money, a lot of them Spectre boxes.
A lot of money was spent up in there.
I ain't gonna lie, Forte. I
was in there, bro.
Yeah, I may have been acting like it was VC up in there back in the day.
When Mass Effect 3 came out, bro, I literally dropped. Matter of fact, when because Andromeda had it too, and I remember when Andromeda came out, I actually dropped about 100.
It's the only thing from Andromeda they actually supported after its first 3 months
you paid money
on the
to
market. Right. Interesting story about the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. I read a story. I think it came from Jason Schreier. It may have been in his book in regards to Dragon Age Inquisition. It may have been like a little blurb or something, or it may be one of his articles talking about the Mass Effect Andromeda. But I read something that said that there was a particular player on Mass Effect 3's multiplayer that spent upwards over $20,000.
Jesus.
On that, and that was like the example that EA executives always used on why they forced BioWare to put multiplayer in all of their games going forward, except for Anthem. Anthem didn't get it, but Anthem probably could have used it. They could have used some multiplayer. They didn't put none in, that's what they was like. Well, this guy spent $20K, so. We want those kind of whales, that kind of situation. But since it was brought up, we could very quickly go into which of the trilogy is is
Are we really doing that?
I don't think there's gonna be much. This among us three because we're all three very smart individuals.
We all know there's only one Mass Effect. I mean, the most dominant Mass Effect.
There's only one GOAT.
Yeah, the one that had debuted the character thing, the one that had arguably the greatest mission, the suicide mission in the game. The one that debuted the Elusive Man, excuse me. And that's Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, the one that had my man sitting in front of a planet in his living room.
Yes.
On a screen.
Smoking the coolest cigarette ever. I mean, that guy would switch hands, like have a cigarette, like wrap around his arm and smoke the cigarette. You'd be like, man, this guy is
right. The game that gave us the beautiful Miranda Lawson.
Oh, yes.
Let's go.
Introduce Cerberus.
The crew in 2. Best crew in the entire series.
I would agree.
Facts.
All of them.
Mass Effect 1 dudes be tricking.
Don't be mad because they redefined your RPG and made it a lot better in 2. Just because they said, wait, we don't need all this RPG. We need to make this gameplay better.
They didn't even have DLC in 1. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
you tell me what game has the best. Dog, anybody, anybody that would tell you that.
Even Mass Effect 3 had the Citadel DLC. What did the Mass Effect 1 guys get? They got a bunch of procedurally generated ugly planets. That's what they got. And
they got a Mako that tripped on the rocks.
It's so funny y'all say that because that's the thing. Like the Mass Effect warfare, it's like rose-colored glasses. Like they forget all the problems. They forget all. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It was definitely revolutionary for its time. We all loved the whole first Spectre, the whole bit. But when it came down to it, that exploration on the planets was horrible. The Mako was horrible. The idea of it was cool, but the implementation was, you know what I'm saying, was just not that great. And then
There was nothing on those planets.
exactly, it was barren. You can't talk about it.
Like driving a rover on the moon. Every
Yes.
single planet was just completely barren, devoid of any life.
Yes.
Devoid of any like vegetation or plants or anything. And just the map looked like something from the Atari.
Yes. It was terrible. It was so terrible.
Big old block. What's that big block right there? Oh, that's the base, apparently.
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
And then you fought like the same centipede. Remember, like this centipede boss every time, and like,
Yeah,
you know,
like-
there's people.
Oh, is
love
it another ambush with the centipede? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and then you get
of it.
and then you
Okay.
get to the point where you're going into the game and you're like, oh, we got planets we can go to, and you go down to these planets like, beam me down, Scotty, and then when you get down there, you're like, an elevator waiting.
Oh,
Waiting. All you saw
yup.
was the little probe thing going to the planet. It did that for like 2 minutes before you got. And don't say you want to try to come back to the ship. Oh, here comes another 5-minute wait. 5-minute wait. Let's talk. No, listen. That game had problems. The game was amazing. Don't get me wrong. We love like you can't say Mass Effect is one of the best trilogies you ever played, and
the
not
best villain in the entire series.
Yes,
and
Sarah
not
was fine.
say that one was not good, but let's be for real, man. The one, look, I literally stopped. I could not stand Mass Effect 1.
Bro, it's
I
literally
couldn't. I got stuck on a planet, and I was like, "How do I get it?" Easily, I could have got on the planet. I'm like, I don't even want to play no more.
Bro,
I was like, I just got stuck on this planet, and then I was like, I'm not playing. And then 2 years, 3 years later, Mass Effect 2 came out. My brother was like, bro, you need to go see what Mass Effect 2 is. I was like, I didn't even play 1. He was like, dog, just go see what it is. So I went to go boot it up. In the first mission, and you flying through space, and I was like, bro, I have to go endure the first one just so I can get back to this.
Yeah,
Just
to defend
two was.
Defend one a little bit, because I don't want people to think that we think Mass Effect 1 is a bad game. It's not a bad game.
Not a bad game.
Right. The entire this is the reason why I think it's the best gaming trilogy ever created.
Yes.
Every single game in the trilogy is, at the very least, a very good game.
Absolutely.
Mass Effect 1 is, I think, far below 2 and 3. Definitely better than Andromeda, based off of just characters alone and story alone. But definitely not a bad game. It's just that when it comes to comparison, and some of these Mass Effect 1 stands that want to compare it to the GOAT, which is Mass Effect 2, there's just no comparison. There's just nothing.
When you were the most
Two, absolutely. Look, a loyalty mission in 2 is some of the best dialogue, best written story, and way better gameplay than anything that's in Mass Effect 1. Take that loyalty mission for the black guy. When he goes to find his father, or the loyalty mission for Miranda trying to save her sister, or the loyalty mission for the assassin as he's trying to save his son from a lifestyle
that's my boy.
From a life that he went through. Where's any of that kind of stuff? Like the closest you can get in Mass Effect 1 is the Turian. What's his face? Garrett. Basically going to the edge, trying to catch that doctor that never caught on the Citadel, and basically you kind of like bringing it back, like, dude, you kind of going too far, man. You might want to slow it down. Otherwise, like, there are no other, like, does Ashley get a loyalty mission, or the other guy that no one ever chose and let him die because clearly he was boring as all get out. Like,
shout out to Caden.
Yeah, Caden,
Nobody remember Caden.
Caden was the innocent bystander at the end of it.
Yeah.
So Caden caught that bullet for y'all at Vermont?
Oh yeah, it wasn't even a choice. It was like, well, who's going to stay?
I didn't have the choice. I didn't have the choice.
Get on the ship.
I took too long, and the choice was made for me.
Oh damn!
Really? I didn't know it would do that.
Well, no. I'm talking about another person. No, I chose female over male in that one.
Ashley,
but when it came down to my Rex, it was
Rex the homie.
Rex was taken from me too soon because I couldn't make a decision, and Ashley made it for me.
Oh damn!
I told Rex to get down, lay down. I was just like.
Oh, you told Rex to get down.
Disrespected Rex.
Look, when you have a high end Paragon or Renegade level, you can tell Rex whatever you want, and he going back down.
Well, listen, that's because you played the game like an asshole.
No, look, I said Paragon or Renegade level.
What was your Renegade level? Must have been very high for you to tell that man to get down like that.
Initially, when the game was fairly new, I did 3 playthroughs. I did my Paragon playthrough. I did a Renegade, like all Renegade, all Paragon, and I did what I would do playthrough. And I learned in the what I would do playthrough, I did not have a high enough Paragon or Renegade level to tell Rex to back down.
Yeah.
So what I had to do was basically kick Rex in the stomach and shoot him point blank range with a shotgun. That was that ended it right then and there. And it is literally the best Shepherd line ever, because Caden walks up to you and he's like, "Yo, your commander, are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm doing better than he is." It is the hardest line I've ever heard.
I've never gone full.
I've never done that. I mean, like I said, Ashley ended that for me. It wasn't a decision that I could make. Ashley was like, "Bye." Bye, Felicia.
Shout out the replicant in the chat that said a bullet sorted Rex's insubordination. It sure did. Point blank range. Look, but that's like, this is why Mass Effect is so great, because even if we could talk so badly about like the issues we had with that game, it was moments like that we could all night long discussing like moments that all these games had that were just so powerful.
I remember for the first time, seeing the E3 trailer for it. And I didn't know what it was. I just saw him at a bar talking and the conversation, choices with Shepard and some NPCs. And I remember at the time graphically, it was something amazing for its time. And then when you get it, and like you said, we talk about the Vermont mission. There's certain moments, and I'm like, yo, I can't believe the game is having me choose and do these things. Like, it was really impactful, like very, very hard choices, and then consequences where the past went somewhere, and then open up things, and then you talk to your man that's playing it. He'd be like, yo, this happened, and this happened, and then they like, wait a minute, that didn't happen for me. This is what happened. Like, it's that level of. I almost reminded. I'm gonna kind of reveal my age now, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with. We all remember Choose Your Own Adventure books. I don't know if you guys are familiar with.
I used to love those. Yeah.
Oh, bro, I used to love those. But it was like a video game that was a Choose Your Own Adventure, and
I used to cheat like a mug.
You used to turn to the page.
Turn to page 96. You dead. Whoops. I didn't mean 96. Go back to page 138.
Facts, man. Oh. Bro, I used to do the same thing. You got to cheat a little bit, but that's what a little bit, right? That's what Mass Effect was, man. I never had a game do that to me, and then you had, and the thing that I gotta say it, but the few games do it is you can have relationships with your crewmates. Like that part was fine. Like most games never let you push them. You can keep pushing them. Like, so what's up? You want to have that drink? What's up? What's going on?
I'm going up to the cabin. You are sure to join me. Ship secretary or whatever her name was.
Yes. And then, you know what was crazy? You know who did me dirty too? What was her name? The biotic with what's her name? Jack. Remember the one, the chick, the biotic? She was like,
you mean Morinth, the daughter of
she had crazy, but she had like the tattoos. So what happened is I kept pushing the issue. Like, what's up? What's going on? What's up? What's up? You know what I'm saying? So then she was like, Commander, if you just want to, smash, why don't you just say it? Like, this is
you mean Jack? Oh, you mean
yeah.
Jack? So, okay. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna tell you like the entire story arc of that real quick. Because I know
for me, like I'm used to Mass Effect, the romancing and all this other stuff. So this was a wham bam, we got it on, right? Yep. So afterwards, I was like, yeah, so what's up there? Commander, it was just one thing. That's it. We good. And I'm like, damn, like it was like her blow off was just like, yeah, don't catch feelings. That was just for the moment. Let's get back to the business, and that's it. Yeah, I was like, wow, this game is crazy.
Now, let me tell you, there's a way to romance that character, but what you have to do is that she's so used to people just like not being so like you accepting her come on and smashing right then. Ends any chance you have of a romance with her. You have to turn her down, and then when she's like, "Yo, what's wrong with you? Like, what's your deal?" And then whatever you say after that makes her really, really think about it. The next time you go talk to her, then she's like, she sees you as different, and then she actually sees some potential. So then, at that point, then you can actually, now that her wall is down, you can actually pursue a romance with her.
She's one of those. Yeah, she's one of those that she likes to be chased, and when you don't chase her, it's like, huh? It all just makes sense to her then.
Wow, I never do it. See, that's why I gotta play this game again. There's so many games I've never seen, so many possibilities, so many play styles. I mean, the replay value is tremendous, and now we're gonna get bad. I can't wait, bro. I can't wait.
I've actually been playing through Mass Effect 1 on a little bit, just because I was trying to get some footage for some Mass Effect videos I was doing, but I've also been playing through it on PC. I'm on Mass Effect 3 on PC, and I started playing Mass Effect 1 a little bit over. I did finish Mass Effect 2 a few months ago. And of course, when the Legendary Edition, the Trilogy comes out, I'm planning to do it all over again anyway. So,
I can't wait.
And with more modern looks, and hopefully a little bit of quality of life improvements for Mass Effect 1. I guess that's the last thing we can kind of discuss before we transition on. Forte, how do you feel about Mass Effect 1 not being a remake but a remaster?
Okay, so what? Better frame rate, better. I mean, I'll take all that stuff, but they need to that combat. Oh Lord, that combat. I'm gonna deal with it, but I mean, the fact that it's gonna run at 60 frames. No, man, because even that combat on PC, you can still feel it. Even the combat over there ain't no better. So 60 frames per second at higher resolutions ain't gonna make it no better. I'm just happy that we
still have controller support, because on PC
PC didn't have it. So so that's the one thing I'm really looking forward to the most, is just playing it again and having just better performance. But I mean, man, look, man, we said we wanted it, but they're not giving us everything we wanted. But at this point, I love that game so much that I'm willing to just say, screw it. I want to play this on current gen platforms. I don't care. I don't care if you don't, remake it or anything. Just give it to me at this point. Hopefully later on down the line, once they get further in development with their next Mass Effects, they go back and do what 343 did with the Halo games, and we do them piece by piece. When is the because when did Mass Effect 1 come out? Was it 2007?
Yes, 2007 is when the first one came out, and then 2 came out in 2019. 2011. I'm sorry, 2019. 2011, and then 3 was out 2013. Yeah, they brought them out really fast, and
well, I mean, because 2 and 3 are very, very close to each other. Like, it's like the way I looked at those games was 1 was like the closest you'll probably get to what Dragon Age did with its overall way that you play the game when it comes to RPG elements and everything, just with shooter and action adventure tied on top of it. So you could definitely see where they were coming from. They were trying to implement a system that worked in both games, but as they got feedback in Mass Effect 1, they started realizing, like, yo, people that play games like this, they want to move faster, they want to get in and out of cover, they want, they still want that BioWare story, but they wanted to happen a lot faster with more better controls. And dog, when we got that in Mass Effect 2, I was like, yo, it can't get better than this. It can't get better than this. And then 3 came out. And
they were learning because it took them time, because like Mass Effect 1 is their first time ever doing like a shooter. So that, of course, it's like there's a learning process, some trial and error. But if you notice, Mass Effect 2 had way better combat than 1.
Oh yes.
3 had better combat than
2. Yeah.
And Andromeda actually had the best combat in any Mass Effect game. That Andromeda combat is really good, especially with the ability using the AI to change out loadouts on the fly like that. To go from like an adept or an engineer to a soldier, just by hitting the button, and you got completely different abilities to be able to kind of like take on different situations. I mean, there's one time you're fighting this huge like sand monster. I remember, and I'm just like switching up my loadout, determining whichever phase the monster was in. It's really good. The combat was the only thing that
was good.
I wonder what Andromeda plays like on the new Xbox.
That's a good point, because performance at the time was bad. Yeah. So imagine now with the console, right?
Yeah, I did a video when the X came out and they put out the patch for it, and I was like, yo, this plays way better. So I wonder what it plays. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try that out on Andromeda.
I'm definitely going to play it after I'm done with Mass Effect 3. Hopefully, I'll have all of them done before the Legendary Edition comes.
A lot of people I see like Replicate. He was talking about how Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't that bad, and it's not. Look, okay, and and this is only coming from my point of view. Everybody can have their own different one. It wasn't that Andromeda was a bad game. It's just that the attachment I had to my characters in 3. They didn't do enough to make me care enough about anybody that was on that freaking ship in Andromeda. That the one thing that you got to do, and they got to stand out, because when you're going into the first Mass Effect, you're greeted with this grand scale of what the Citadel is, and you just try to find your way inside of this and become what you became as as a Spectre, and having your own crew and going after Siren. It was just like a grand adventure. And then it gets more and more once you actually, basically, even knowing it was baked into the game that these were going to be your crewmates, they made it feel like you picked these people because you went out on these missions to like settle things to help them become more indebted to you.
Yes.
It became like a family thing.
At that point.
By the time you got to the end of that game, you felt for every last person on that ship that was with you. And 3, and it was the culmination for me right before you go up to the Citadel, and you're running through the city, and you stop at that one town, and you can talk. You can basically talk to everybody.
Fact, I love that.
Right there was the ultimate, like, to be. That was the closing of the game for me, because people kept saying like the end of the game to them, really they were pissed. I get why they were pissed at the way it ended, but for me, the true ending of that game was me reconciling with everybody.
Last
went through this whole journey with.
So well done. Done.
When I got to that point, I was like, I'm good. Whatever happens after this, I'm fine. And it's just, that's how I felt. So when I take that thought and go into Andromeda, and the build-up isn't there, and I don't have characters that I
connect with,
it just made it. It's like hashtag not my shepherd.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Honestly,
Andromeda, it wasn't a bad game. It just was not what we wanted in Mass Effect at that time.
Right.
I'm gonna have to slightly disagree with you. But yeah, I finished it. And well, I'm gonna say my piece, and then I'm gonna let Cognito talk about how you feel about Mass Effect 1 not being a remake as well as Andromeda. But when I finished Andromeda, I really found what it is that the crew, there was nothing like that stood out with them. They were not very interesting. That was my first issue with them. Ryder is not a strong enough personality. Regardless, like really, it's you got twins, but really, whichever one you choose that's the personality that you're going to be stuck with, and it's the same personality for both. And it's just like every decision was very wishy-washy. It was either I'm gonna be very stoic or I'm gonna be sarcastic, but it's still the same choices. Whereas with Shepard, you had your Paragon, your Renegade. It was really a lot of choice there. And then finally, the villain, the main villain, is the worst villain in the entire series. He's the worst bad guy. His lines are terrible. His dialogue is terrible. At the end, he's like yelling the same like repeated lines at you during that final fight. It's just so like cliche, and it's not what you expect from Mass Effect. I was extremely disappointed. Now, combat wise, still like best combat in the game, and part of the reason why I kept playing it and was able to hit max level and wanted to continue like trying out different builds and stuff is that I like that kind of stuff. I like looter shooters, so that kind of like really drew me to continue to keep playing it. But story wise, it's like people go to Mass Effect and expect quality stories, quality characters, amazing plots, and amazing dialogue, and we got none of that. And that's where it's just like the disappointment was just way too much. Plus all the legendary bugs that it had.
Oh god.
Cog, your thoughts on the Mass Effect 1 not getting a remake as well as Andromeda?
Yeah, I mean, that part was a little disappointing, you know, being that we waited so long. I would have liked them to be remakes, you know, just to really push the tech, push technology. And again, you know, we know the issues with it. One thing we'll say is that through the power of NVMe SSD, the elevators in Mass Effect 1 should not be an issue. Right. So that's one thing that future tech will help naturally. But yeah, I would have liked, you know, a remake. But then again, it's a tough one because you know how games that are this revered from a purist standpoint, some guys don't like things messed with. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a tough one. I would have preferred a remake, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'll accept it, you know, as long as it's, you know, obviously we getting hit our targets, our 60 frames, you know, really pushing out the visual boundaries as far as what they have. And the main thing is, like I said, having the entire collection, one cohesive unit, you know, that is ultimately what we've all been waiting for. Because I think, and to Forte's point, another thing is that a lot of people, and again, not to, you know, to keep Mass Effect 1 bashing, but the reality is a lot of people, when I tried to tell them about how great the series is, right? And then they're like, okay, you know, you said 2 is the greatest. Should I do 1? I'm like, yeah, they do 1 and then they lose interest because of the technical issues or whatever. It just does. It didn't age well. Let's just say that. We know the game is great, right? But it just didn't age well for new people coming into the series. So hopefully, because again, the loading and maybe the technical stuff, that's the only thing I was thinking. Maybe a remaster slow might have been good, but I just don't know how they would have attacked the planet thing. You know what I mean? Because it's such the hardcore fans love that about it, but you know,
I think there just have been some stuff to just cut out, like just completely cut the Mako out.
Yeah,
just cut that out.
They're gonna riot. They're gonna have Hogue and these dudes riot, and they love this stuff, man.
I'm about to really trigger some people and with some gameplay footage real quick. Hold on.
You want to pull out that bad Emmy weapon? I'm gonna keep talking. But,
go ahead and keep.
I'll keep going. But yeah, Forte. I mean, it's like, look, this. I'm happy it's here. Would I have liked to remake? Yes. You know what I'm saying. But to your point on it, Andromeda. Yeah, the no Shepard. You know, that is all. Here he comes.
Look at that. Oh my god!
The animal, remember that? The animal.
Oh, wow.
The animal. Look at this award-winning gameplay.
Man,
this is what they want.
All pro going across mountains taller than Mount Everest.
Oh my god! Look! Oh my! Yeah, the goat. Yeah, look at this decrepit satellite. Oh my god, I forgot about how awful this was.
Yo, this is you can't just like, it needs a little bit more than a remaster. Some stuff needs to be just completely. No, this is, I just found some random dude's gameplay on YouTube. This is not mine. Look at that map. Look at that. That was, I'm telling you, straight Atari graphics on the map, yo. It's crazy. Just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, they don't even get in the car no more. They just teleport in now.
Yeah, remember that?
Right. Shout out to that, Jeff. You climb on top of the turret to get inside the right way. You got to just teleport in.
Yeah, man. Again, rose-colored glasses, brother. A lot of people got rose-colored glasses.
Right. But let's. I think we
get it.
definitely we wax poetic and spoke so well about this trilogy so much. Like, look, the to wrap it all up, Mass Effect trilogy. If you have not played it, it is, even though we've been slandering the hell out of Mass Effect 1, great trilogy.
Yes,
I recommend, if you haven't played it, to give it a shot. It's going to be great. It's definitely something I recommend. And Mass Effect 2 is my top 5 of games of all time.
It's number one.
Yeah. So I'm moving on. This week has been a very, very eventful week, kind of historic in gaming if you think about it. It's been the week of two next-gen consoles being launched and released. And so the first was on the 10th, which is last Tuesday, and that was the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S, 2 SKUs from Microsoft. And I believe both Lord Cognito here, our guest, and Mr. Game and Forte both have that. I don't have it. I didn't choose. I wasn't looking for it. That's was solely my choice. I believe Mr. Lord Cognito may have had it a little bit longer than.
Don't you start.
Hey, I just want to throw that out there. Anyway, so we can first talk about our thoughts about the Xbox Series X and S, and then get into the PlayStation 5. So again, I don't have any information to really give any feedback but our guest Cognito, why don't you tell us about your experience with the system so far?
Yeah, so we start with Series X first, or just
yeah. Series X or S? Well, which one do you have?
I have the X.
You have the X. All right. So you don't have the S at all. You have no plans to get on the S?
Yeah, you know what it was? I was gonna get it, but then when it came down to the trading, I spoke to Forte, and I'm like, okay, they're giving a lot of trading at GameStop for these systems, but then I was looking at, okay, I gotta have something for the bedroom. And I'm like, you know what? I might just keep the Xbox One X and just put it over there in the bedroom and let that rock. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the Series X would be the living room. So I ended up keeping the One X. You know what I'm saying, for that purpose. But as far as the Series X, man, first thing off the bat, premium packaging. When you get it, like, the setup is really nice. You feel like you done copped some very high, standard tech, very premium. Get that joint out the box. Weighs a little bit more heavier than I thought. It's smaller. And I know we're talking about the PS5. The PS5 is big, but the PS5 is light.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the PS5 is not heavy, bro. Like, that surprised me. Whereas the Series X, you look at it, it doesn't look like it's that heavy, but it got some weight to it, man.
It's solid.
Yeah, so that's what surprised
sturdy.
me. Yeah, so been setting up. Now, sadly, I'm vertical gang, but unfortunately, the way my setup is, man, there's no way I could do vertical on these consoles. So I had to put it like a big loaf of bread underneath the thing. Yes, to look like a big loaf. They're killing me. Shout out to our alcoholists on Twitter. They're killing me. But first thing off, I get fired up. The setup, super easy, super intuitive. Download that app. You just boom. You put in your information, and while the system is doing its updates, it's
wait. You have to download an app?
Well, yeah, like, you have the option of using the Xbox app to set up and configure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right,
so you power it on, then you got your phone. It tells you, hey, download the app. We're gonna rock this out for you. So you download the app, you do it, and it is so intuitive. I was a little hesitant at first. I'm like, why are they making me use my phone for this? But then when I was doing it, I was like, yo, this is pretty cool. So you're inputting your information, you're doing your settings while it's doing that. The system's updating. It's very quick, very intuitive. I actually loved the setup of the Series X. So then once I got the visual stuff down, I was just starting to rock and roll. And the first thing you notice off the bat, just how fast everything is, how clean the UI is. It's the same, but it's a refinement. And I actually like it when you press the guide button and you have the icons at the bottom, basically clearly explaining where things are. So I definitely like that joint. So I picked up mostly all of the major games and stuff. But what I wanted to do was really first kind of like test a lot of games that I know either struggled with either loading times or frame rates and stuff like that, and just putting stuff through its paces. And a lot of games, super impressive, man. And the last thing I'll say is the quick resume. I didn't realize how much I would love that feature. Like that feature is a game changer.
Really?
Yes.
Because like I didn't think that was going to be. I can see it like in some cases, but I guess I'm so used to not like having something like that. So you can just kind of like playing your gaming around the fact that like I'm not going to be able to save where I'm at. So like when it comes to like a Japanese RPG. I gotta take care of some stuff. Let me try to get to a save point real quick, right? Or when it comes to you're playing and you're playing playing whatever game, and you're just like, man, all right, someone wants to do something. Let me just go hit save my game and just back out of it. But now I guess you don't even have to do any of that. It's just even if the system turns off, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the thing about it is you don't even think about it. Because what will happen is you can turn the system off. You could do other games. You could do other apps. And then I went back. I think it was like Gears Tactics or something. And I went back to touch it. And I'm like, it was like, boom, right where I had left it off at. And this was after turning the system off. I'm like, yo, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So then you just get in this habit. All right, well, let me see how many more games I can do this with. Now, obviously, not every game. There's some games. I think Yakuza Like a Dragon has a glitch or whatever that doesn't allow it. So because basically any game that's like a Destiny, that's an always online game, that's not going to do it, because the minute you switch off, it's going to kick you to orbit. And you're gonna have to reconnect to server again. But any game that doesn't have that, for the most part, any type of online sign in, you're good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was one of the features. And then testing, my last thing I was doing was just testing a lot of 120 hertz games, because unlike you, Slow, I know your PC Master Race. I know you guys have got all.
Hey! I don't subscribe to those kind of thoughts. I think all gamers are equal, even the ones that game on 30 frames per second with inferior hardware. We're all the same. That's.
Listen, man, I hear y'all on Brap. Y'all be going in. But all I'm saying is this: like for me, who has a 1070 Ti on my PC, who has just 60 hertz monitors, I never experienced 120. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what that is. I don't, and 4. So you throw the 4K, the HDR, the 1440p, and then the 120 hertz, and it's, man, the responsiveness. Ori, I was doing that. I did a Rainbow Six Siege multiplayer, Gears 5 insane. The responsiveness it's really amazing to see them push these kind of modes. Is very impressive. So yeah, I think overall my experience is fantastic. Obviously, I want more exclusive games. Obviously, the Halo not being there does hurt them, but the third-party stuff is there. You're gonna have a ton of stuff to play, whether it be Destiny, like we already know. If you want to do Valhalla, I'm saving that for last, so I can't give you the Valhalla joint. But it is so much to play. So for all these people say there's not games, it's not really true, because I was sitting there and I'm looking at Game Pass. I'm looking at, dude, I bust out my last point. I bust out No Man's Sky, a game that I laughed at, ridiculed at launch, felt it was a hustle, whatever.
Looking at it now.
Bro, I'm sitting there like, yo, this is a totally different game. This is 4K 60, go anywhere with people in your world and creating your own thing. And I'm like, yo, this is amazing. Like, old games is a new lease on life. Like, I'm like, yo, this is different right now. So again, I get it. Everybody wants hot new stuff. And if you want the hot new stuff, bro, you got Valhalla. Get in there. You know what I'm saying? You got all these other games you can rock out. If you never play Gears Tactics, you show yourself, because Gears Tactics is amazing. But for the most part, bro, like I was very impressed. Like I was very occupied playing a ton of stuff. But I'm curious about Forte's, his experience with everything, you know what I'm saying, with Series X.
Right, yeah. Go ahead, Forte.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the same. It's like when I first got it home. First of all, when I saw these things coming to the store, I was like, yo, those are Xboxes. I can definitely tell they got the street date on the side of the box. And big orange sticker, don't open. So of course I opened up the box.
Of course.
I opened up the box. I said, I want to see if this box matches the pictures I've been seeing online. And it does. And then I was pleasantly greeted with Halo on the back of it. I was like, oh man, no Halo. So after that's decided, I finally got the system home. And first of all, man, it's not as big as you think it is. It's like when you open the box, it's like, yo, this thing is pretty small, but it's heavy as hell.
Heavy as hell.
Heavy as a mug. So I was like, no, it's so much. Like if you look at the PlayStation 5 box and look at the Series X box, you'll be like, the PlayStation box is heavy. No, man, not like that Xbox. It's crazy, but yeah, man. Setting it up. Well, first of all, the presentation. Let's be for real.
Yeah,
Microsoft.
Well, I guess it would make sense. I just want to interject real quick about because both of you guys had mentioned the weight of it. I guess it's not that big. Well, at least not that big compared to the PlayStation 5. So I guess like if it was also really big and heavy, that would be a problem for some people, especially like children or smaller adults like Luca, like people who.
Lord,
no, that's not shade. That's not shade. I'm being real here. Like it would, you don't want it to be an issue where you get a lot of people saying, "I accidentally dropped my system. Now I need to get a replacement, or I need to get it serviced or whatever." So I guess it's good that it's not that big, but then of course it's heavy, but it's not that big. So that's great,
right? Yeah, so it's heavy. It ain't going nowhere. Once you sit that thing where it's going to sit at, it ain't going nowhere. So but let's start from the beginning, man. The presentation. Oh, shout out to the Ash and Luca. I almost broke my wrist picking it up. It's hard. It's heavy, bro. It's a heavy mud though. But yeah, man. So yeah, you open up the box, man, and it's like they got it saying power your dreams on the front of it and everything. It's wrapped in it's wrapped in the what's the name plastic? I forget what they call it. And I'm like, yo, look at this presentation. I said Tisha, before I take it out the box, come look at this. That's my wife, by the way.
Okay, I was over to ask you.
Shout out to Tisha.
That's my wife. Shout out to Tisha. Shout out to Letitia. So I said, come look at this. I said, Tisha, this is like Apple. This is Apple level presentation from Xbox. I was like, yo, this is awesome. So as I rip all that stuff off and that like it never happened, I hooked the system up. And like Cognito said, man, it was like setting it up is like simple. Like the hardest thing you need to know is your email and password to log in. That's literally logging into, like you can let it do all of its updates in the background. It even tells you, it says, hey, do you want to do this from your phone while we set everything else up for you on the back end? And we're like, oh yeah, yes, I may. So so that was amazing. Getting into the system itself and the UI, it's very familiar, but it feels, you could definitely tell that Xbox has been really building on this UI over the course of the whole entire generation, because this thing is so like it was already snappy because I'm in the Bravo ring for what's the name, and I get the updates a lot faster than other people. So I already had like the X UI on my Xbox One X, but seeing the difference between that UI and the one running on the system itself, night and day, bro. You talk about snap your fingers, you wherever you want to be. Store loads up instantly.
Great. Because for the majority of this past generation now we call it past generation.
Past generation now, yes.
One UI has been a sluggish frustration of just like, oh man, why am I waiting?
They sped it up a lot. They sped it up a lot with the people that's going to be getting the new update. If they haven't got it already, they'll be getting it soon. They sped it up a lot, and it's very noticeable. But yeah, this new system, wow, you just get everywhere. It remembers when you set it up, it remembers every last setting you had on your last system and asks if you want to just port that stuff over, and everything you set up from tiles to people that's on your friend, it's all there.
Comes right over.
You don't gotta do nothing.
Very easy setup.
So easy. And then when you get to certain putting, like when you plug your hard drive in, shout out to the external hard drive, when you plug it into the back of your system, it automatically recognizes all your games instantly, and it tells you what games have updates. It say, hey, this game has an update. Do you want to get the updated version, smart delivery for this system? Don't have to do anything. It just does it for you.
Okay, so a question, like talking about updates and stuff like that. So a question I have, so let's say you want to play a backwards compatible game on your Xbox Series X. Let's say you want to play you want to play Control.
Yes.
But matter of fact, that's a bad one because they don't have the series.
They don't have the patch out yet.
What's a game that already has the series? Like an older game that already has the series. Okay, Forza Horizon 4.
Forza Horizon 4, yeah.
Yeah, because I just saw Dick and Foundry talk about this the video on it earlier today. So Forza Horizon 4. Let's say you boot that up.
Yeah.
You get the option. What you're saying is you get the option to get the Series X patches right then and there, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay,
right
now does that have to be? Let's say you don't have the Seagate official Series X.
I can tell you about that.
Go ahead, Cog. You can answer that. Go ahead, Cog.
Okay, hold on. But let's say you have a typical hard drive or a SATA SSD, just some standard SATA SSD with faster write speeds than the hard drive, but not nowhere near as fast as the NVMe. Yeah,
that's me.
Okay, so you don't have it on the internal.
I don't either.
Do you still get the updates?
All right, this is my experience. I thought I was going to be smart and try to put all my games from my Xbox One X on my SSDs in preparation for the Series X and then transfer them over. Most of them transferred over. However, what my Series X did, I don't know if you had this experience, Forte, it started to do this thing called upgrading. And I'm like, okay, this should be just a transfer over and done. But it transferred over, and then it's like, okay, you're not finished. Now we're going to upgrade this. So I guess for velocity architecture or whatever the hell they're doing. And that process, this is my only nitpick on the system. And it's very weird for me to go at them like this because I'm not used to them having this type of issue. But I noticed the downloads, bruh. Like shout out to Dealer. We was
shout out to Dealer trying to
last night, and I was calling him Captain Cap. You gonna stop? Oh no, I didn't have any problem, bruh. I play on Xbox.
So has it flipped? Because remember with the PlayStation 4, it would be like
no slow
you want to install something, you might as well leave.
Dealer was trying to tell us that play tomorrow. Dealer was trying to tell us it was always like he was like, if you're playing the game, it's gonna slow down. It's gonna hack down your install speed, your download speeds. And I was like, hell no! I used to download at 300 megs per second when I was playing games.
Flying. There is definitely some throttling going on.
Yes.
Now I want to give them a pass. Obviously, it's launch week. I want to see how long this gonna continue. Because
let's say you're not playing a game. You're not playing a game. You want it to move. Look at
still slow.
And you wanted to reinstall or move Forza Horizon 4 to your internal or whatever. Like, how long does that take?
Oh, the transferring is not bad. No, the transfer is fine.
So it's just the booting up and playing on the Series X that takes forever. Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not that. The issue is when you are about to download a game from the store or whatever, right?
Okay.
Or it's a game that was on your regular hard drive, external, that you now have to move over to the internal, and then it has to do whatever this upgrading thing is. So that it's a combination. The main thing is this: when you download, like how you download games back in the day on Xbox fans know this.
Right.
It's fast, bro. If you got
it's always been fast.
Bro, if you got your fiber, you got your 100 ups or whatever, you flying. Like you're not really thinking about it. Like you're playing the game, next thing you know, you're getting the pop-up, it's installed. That's Xbox. You know what I'm saying? That's always what I've known from Xbox. This time is like, I'm like, what's going on with Yakuza Like a Dragon? Why is it taking? I'm like, 2%. And I'm looking at my download speed, and it's like throttled, super slow, and it's moving up 1% at a time. And I'm like, what is going on? So again, not the transferring of data from drive to drive. That's a non-issue. It's getting it from the Microsoft store. You know what I'm saying? That I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, people don't realize when you're moving from one space to another, that's not a problem at all.
Right.
Like I'm with Cog because when he mentioned, I was like, bro, same with me because I was upgrading because same thing. I transferred Gears of War over and it wanted to do the upgrade for the system. Right. So the transfer only took probably 15 minutes to transfer because I had it on a base hard drive, so it wasn't even on the SSD. It took like 15 minutes to transfer, which isn't bad to transfer damn near 100 gigs.
Right.
But the upgrade that it did, I was playing Destiny and I went to the dashboard and I'm like, and I noticed, I was like, oh, it's at 43%. And then like 40 minutes later, I looked again and I was like, it's only at 52%.
Thank you.
And it stood out to me because that's something I've never experienced on Xbox before. I'm like, normally if I see a download, by the time I even think about looking at it again, it's already done.
It's already done. You don't even think about it. Exactly. That's how you know it's a difference. You don't even think about it when I was on my Xbox One X or whatever. That's just something that was never synonymous with, like, to be honest, it was always a PlayStation 4 issue. I always used to have.
Yeah, it was always the PlayStation 4
I'd be like, damn, this joint still ain't. And then what would happen is, remember, you download it and you think you're done, and then be like, oh, gotta install now. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are issues I've always been synonymous with PlayStation. Now, it doesn't do the install download combo on Xbox, but it's just a slower overall process. Yeah, I'm hoping it's the servers or something.
Yeah, I definitely, that's the one thing. Like, shout out to Dealer because he was saying the same thing. He was like, he never had that. Plus, he said it's day one, and I'm with him on that. You know, it could be the fact that Xbox servers are getting trashed that day, and everybody was hitting it. But for the most part, when it came to like Xbox Live itself, not an issue at all. I was in parties with people, talking. It's like the system is a multitasking monster. Machine. You can do like quick resume. Let's talk about this. I did not think I would care about quick resume. Now, granted, Destiny is one of the games, and it doesn't work on Destiny because once you're in it for so long, it logs you out. So any games as a service, it ain't gonna work because you got to log into a server. But when you go, like I was playing Tetris Effects, and I was playing Gears of War, and I was doing Control, and I was doing Bright Memory because I ended up buying it on Xbox. Shout out to you and Slow Mo for talking about it. So I bought those. I was jumping between, so it's like I was just thinking, like, oh, jumped up this morning, wanted to play some Bright Memory before I went to work, and the game just instantly loaded.
Boom, hello.
I was right where I left off, and I was like, what? Ooh. So you're talking about from literally a standby, an instant on mode to the last game, to going from Gears of War, which was the last game I played last night, to switching right over to Bright Memory in the game in 2 seconds, right where I left off at. And dude, it is transformative. Yeah. I don't even have that on PC. I don't even have that on PC.
I guess what my question is for you guys is, you guys are obviously happy with your.
Of course, we ain't even talked about the bad thing, which is no games. But
because I'm hearing a lot of great stuff, which is fine. But I want to be even. So did you? What is the other side of things? What are some things that you feel like they definitely got to work on this?
I have two, but one I mentioned, like I said, they download, but I'm gonna give them a pass day one. Worldwide launch. I'm gonna give you a pass. I want to see if that evens out. I have two minor issues. First of all, I love the share button. Share button's dope, but there is some type of glitch going on when it comes to sharing 4K. HDR, like it's very dark.
They had that same issue on the One X too.
Yeah, it's very dark, and it sucks because I'm looking at these images and they're amazing, and I want to show them off. I know
what the issue is. I know what the issue is. It's an HDR issue. It's an HDR issue.
But I tried taking HDR off and making it standard definition capture, and still. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so long story short, so that they gotta fix that because I want to. These images look great. I want to showcase them. My main thing, it's just that from the game standpoint, I get it. If you're looking for first party original things that's going to showcase outside of Valhalla, which is again third party, and Bright Memory looks cool, but it's more of a it's a piece of game that's been out for a while. It looks amazing, but it's like kind of a demo, a glorified demo in a sense, right?
It pretty much, It's exactly the same build that the developer put out on PC last year,
right?
So it's essentially like a 45-minute game for the most part. It's only like $8 or $9, right?
Yeah.
But at least on PC, if you purchase that, you get the free, you get Bright Memory Infinite when it comes out for free through Steam, which is great. But I think that's going to, if you have Game Pass on Xbox, you're going to get it through Game Pass regardless. So like, I guess it works out well for you. But my bad, continue, man.
No, I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, the main thing, like I said, if you're a guy that you just want something original to kind of like blow your mind that you haven't played, yeah, I could see you like, all right, this is dope, but I need something that's just them that I can't get nowhere else. And right now, that's just not there. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not going, dance around it. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, everything else is so amazing, and the experience is so amazing that it kind of makes up right now in the short term with the launch. And it's just something they're going to have to address. You know what I'm saying? But for right now, that would be it. The first party offerings that you could sit there and say, okay, this is again, I don't want to say Valhalla, because Valhalla is fire, but it has to, I'm talking about a first party. That's the only thing you can really say.
Yeah. So for me, I have two gripes too.
What's up?
And they're kind of, well, probably I have three. First one, same thing. My system actually crashed when I was trying to share a 4K footage on Twitter. It like literally was. It's like the blue screen. It was like how when you get the blue screen deaf your computer go buzz.
Right.
Yeah.
It literally gave me that, and I was like, okay. So I had to turn it off. And the funny thing is, I didn't try to go back and do it again because I'm like, yeah, this thing is broken. I'm not even going to try to do this until I know it's fixed. Sharing like regular HD 4K video, pictures is fine, but the video, that's an issue. So they need to definitely hurry up and finish that. You can still capture to like a external hard drive, and that's perfectly fine. But if you try to share it on the system, good luck. And I know Rand was talking about that in his review, that he had that problem too. So it looks like that's definitely something that they're going to be working on. The second thing is, man, the games. Like as much as we talk about how many there are a bunch of games to play, but seeing how amazing this system looks when it comes to the games that we are playing really tells a story of, wow, if only Halo was here to show this off in the way that game should have been here. Like if this was if Halo Infinite looked like Halo 5 and we had that, I could just imagine eye bones being blown out of my head as I'm watching it. That's what we're missing. It's like, and shout out to Phil Spencer. He talked about that in his interview that he did today, and talked about, how first party, they believe in it, but they're not going to ship a broken game. And, I'm always going to be subscriber to, don't ship it until it's good.
Right.
So I'm with him on that, but it just sucks that, Halo ain't here. There's no Forza game. Everything we have are games that we already played. Like Gears Tactics technically it's a new game to console, but people that's been on PC played it 5-6 months ago. 120 frames per second, and Ori is good, but it's the game that came out back in March or May or whenever it came out. So that's the biggest thing that kind of stood out the most to me, is like we got all of these, we have all this power, but nothing from first party that really pushes the envelope to make you say, yo, this is why I bought this system.
Factual.
That was probably the second thing.
My bad. Go ahead, continue.
No.
It's like you have something else.
No. And the third thing, honestly, it just comes down to how the system, like the performance is really, really good, but to me, it just, I really can't say that. No, it's fine. That's more of a personal thing. It's like things that the system I wish just did more of. Like, okay, like Upload Studio, being a content creator. Why is Upload Studio still the same as it was in 2013?
Factual.
Like you get a brand, like, okay, and like I said, most people probably don't even care about Upload Studio, because I can edit my videos and everything. Like, I have programs to do that. But the fact that, shout out to King Thrash, the fact that he can edit a whole video and actually get the production value that he gets on his system on a PS4 Pro. and get that type of video production, and we have the most powerful system, and we all know that editing and making videos comes down to power. The fact that he has that over there and we don't have anything comparable or even a minor update to the system itself, that is very frustrating, because if you can we at least get a slider that at least changes the vibrancy of the pictures that we put on? Maybe we want to add a little bit more saturation to the picture so we can make it pop.
We're gonna get into that when we talk about that PS5. We're gonna get into that.
Exactly. And that's a good trick.
That would be my third thing right there. But outside of that, the system is freaking phenomenal. Destiny runs like Destiny don't even have the update slow-mo. And it looks like the PC version, bro, without the update. I can't wait.
And less frames.
It's less frames. It's actually tolerable with how good it looked. I was surprised. I was like, okay. Yeah, I was like, I might be able to do you part-time. Your frames ain't there yet until
your frames ain't there yet, but the game color, the colors are there, and the enhanced whatever you did on the back end is there. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That sounds I get everything you guys are saying, especially the parts about first party. I think first party really is hurting them right now.
Yeah, big time.
I can imagine if they would have had games like the Medium, Crossfire X, and Halo Infinite, that would have been a much better comparable launch to what Sony was doing. Still wouldn't be, because they're not like the same kind of game, so different gamers will have a different feel of what they would prefer more, but at least you would have had something that people would have been into. Halo, people can get into that. Crossfire X, new for this part of the hemisphere of the world, but still a game that has shown in the past in other areas of the world to be successful, as well as that campaign, because Remedy definitely is good at making stuff like that. So it's just like, if they would have had all that stuff available, it would have been great. But of course, it's not there. And I definitely feel you guys on all the other issues that you guys are seeing. Some of them I think are kind of like the issues with the share button. That could be fixed in the update. But it's unfortunate that the stuff like that didn't get kind of sussed out well before the launch and got taken care of. But did want to say one more thing, then we can transition over to the PlayStation. And apparently it looks like this launch for the Xbox Series X and S is the most successful launch of any Xbox platform ever. And that is selling very, very well. And they were smart to launch in almost double the number of territories and countries than they did for the Xbox One. So it looks like Microsoft is definitely stepping up out there to try to be a little bit better competition. You think you're going to find a system in a Walmart in December, Slomo? For Xbox Series X? Find the Series X sitting on a shelf in Walmart in December? I think you will. I think you'll find it. I think you'll find. I don't think the demand for the Xbox Series X is as high as it is for the PlayStation 5 right now. True, but these systems are at an astronomical. Like, if you want to say Xbox is at, if PlayStation is at 1,000, Xbox is probably at like 500. Okay, it's still higher than anything that we've ever seen when it comes to people wanting next gen hardware, because like I have people every day, dog. When y'all gonna get the next shipment? It is for both systems. A lot of people want both of them at this point. I have people come and say, "Bro, I need to get." I got one of my friends, one of them. I was like, I got it on my PlayStation. I got him an Xbox. He comes in my store today. Was like, "Bro, I need another one." Another one of what? I need one more Xbox and one more PlayStation. How it's interesting. You got someone else, a PlayStation. I thought I was your friend too, but I mean, I'm just saying, it is what it continues, sir. Once again, Cognito. Did you get a PlayStation, Cognito?
Yes, sir.
How did you get that PlayStation?
Through an amazing friend of mine, Forte.
Cognito. At this point, did somebody told me around that same point that they didn't even know they wanted a PlayStation, right?
That is true.
And he was like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna get a PlayStation. I don't think I want it because all of these games look like they're coming to PC." And then all of a sudden, he changes his mind and says, "Oh, I want the PlayStation now." But guess what? It's already too late. Just like I told
said that. Who are you talking about? No, I didn't.
I had to sit my best
didn't.
friend. I had to literally sit my best friend down on FaceTime today. He was angry. He was like, "Yo, why can't I get this system, bro?"
Time. I did not say I wasn't getting a PlayStation 5.
I'm gonna get to you. I'm like, let me talk. He's store manager at T-Mobile. So I said, let me talk to you like you talk to your associate. Did you come to me before all this hype and tell me you want this system? No. When did you tell me you wanted this system? The day that it got announced of the pre-order date. Why do you think you don't have a system? I probably should have mentioned it to you earlier.
Ding ding.
And I was like, there's your problem. Everybody that I knew wanted a system day one. I had Boom on speed dial. I had Attic on speed dial. I had Cog on speed dial. The moment that stuff went live,
you didn't know that I wanted a PlayStation. I've been saying it.
Slow-mo. You said you ain't want one.
I said I didn't want a PlayStation 5.
Yes, Slow-mo. Because you said you ain't know. You said you was gonna probably wait on next gen at that point.
This is early, probably early. Yeah,
this was early, bro.
Because I was on the fence at one point. But then I said, nah, as a game, I just gotta have it, and then whatever, and then I just said, yo, just let me know. So when I got the call, I was like, all right, I'm running to a GameStop now.
This is beyond me because I've been talking about getting a PlayStation 5 literally for the majority of the time.
You also are very forgetful.
I am not forgetting this. I've been talking about.
About this conversation.
That you got me confused with somebody else. we gonna continue though. So
we gonna continue.
Guess what, Slow-mo? You and Luca are on a short list, but Luca's not on it anymore because shout out to her, Sony came through. You on a short list to make sure that your boy gonna look out for you when another one's come live. But don't make it seem like your boy don't take care of his people. Because he does.
Look, we gonna move on. I'm just saying, like
I still love you.
I still love you too. I just know how far the love goes. He just goes as far as,
He said, I just know how far it goes. Yo, he's stupid.
Yeah, right. But look. So there was something else that came out this week, and that's that PlayStation 5 that we were just talking about. Came out officially today. And I know you guys haven't had. I know both of you guys have the PlayStation 5. Don't know if you probably haven't had enough time with it. Obviously, if you have with the Xbox Series X.
Not the cut rap coming for your neck. He actually is agreeing with Forte. He said Slow-mo. You said on Brap that you weren't going to pre-order, and when Mooch told you to do the trade-in, you said no. Brap was defending.
Okay. First off, Enrique.
Here we go.
Ain't nobody asked you to be coming into this conversation.
Salute to Brap for bringing up the facts.
With the facts, that's all I know.
Look, just because I may have wavered for a moment on getting it doesn't mean that I was never like if 96% of the time I'm saying I'm getting it, and then 4% of the time I said, you know what, maybe I'm not going to get it, then that doesn't mean like the 4% of the time is now the 100% of how I
read you wrong in that situation. Basically, is what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. But now let's move on.
Get to it.
So what were you talking about? PlayStation 5. So again, you guys haven't. It just came out today, and you guys haven't had as much time with it as you've had with the Xbox Series X. But since Forte, Cognito, you went first with the Xbox Forte, so you already got yours up on the screen. Tell us what your first impressions are so far.
All right, as you can see on the screen right now, the thing is massive. It's huge.
Look at that.
It's light as a feather.
It's light.
Big and hard. It's so big and hard. The controller feels breathtaking. I don't like the inline thumbsticks, but I can get over it.
Facts.
I can't stand. I need offset, but you know what? PlayStation one day they're gonna learn, but it's okay. But guess what, man? Setting. Let me turn this up because I don't want to trigger anybody. But for real, let's be for real.
That looks glorious, though, sir.
It's glorious.
It's glorious.
Sitting right next to each other, it's like the Tower of Pisa sitting next to the Tower of Power. You know, whatever, however you want to look at it.
The monolith and the Eiffel Tower. Let's go.
Yep, the monolith and the Eiffel Tower. That's a great analogy. I think for me, setup is a breeze. Presentation, it's okay. It's just a box in a box, and you know, PlayStation ain't put no thought. But who cares?
Oh yeah, they put them crates out. It was like, yeah, here you go.
I was like, this ain't it, chief. Microsoft killing us in the presentation market, but you know what? It's all about playing the games.
Factual.
But the fact that setup, like they know how to have elegance on the screen, even when you're setting it up.
Yes, sir.
I feel like God himself was shining down on my screen as I was doing. No, literally. That's what being on a PlayStation platform, just the music going in the background, and you got you don't have headphones on because it's even worse. So just that experience alone was great. Going in and installing the games was really, really, really good. I don't know if you guys saw my picture of how you put a disc into the PS5 because I put it because I got
put it in backwards.
I put it in because the system stands vertically, and I put it in since the disc trays on the right side of the system when you have it standing up. I was thinking that the disc would go like the bottom of the disc would face to the left. No, man, because the game wouldn't load. I'm like, why is this shit not loading? And then instantly my mind popped. I was like, oh, this must be it backwards. And of course, I turned the disc around to put it in. I was like, what the hell is? And then I thought about like, oh, if I lay it flat, which way would the disc drive look? And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense if you lay it flat. So, and a bunch of people like, shout out to GoChain, you know, Go Gamer. Shout out to Sincere. He even said, yo, bro, I did the same thing. So you're not alone in that. So that was kind of crazy, but yo, games, Demon Souls loaded super fast. You're talking about we were just talking about the download speeds, bro. PlayStation really increased the download speeds of their thing. Like Demon Souls literally was installed in 15 minutes on my system.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like they're definitely addressing some issues that people had with the PlayStation 4 last generation. Although also I've seen, and I guess we can get into it. You know, maybe you guys have seen it too. There's some, especially from the PlayStation camp, some gripes with some features missing that people enjoyed with previous. PlayStation 4. My bad. I just wanted to go ahead, continue, man.
Yeah, so getting into like Demon Souls loaded fast, Spider-Man, Miles Morales loaded fast. Even get the digital version of because I got the Ultimate Edition with shout out Marvel Spider-Man loaded fast. I was like, wow, all three of those games were loaded in the hour and a half before this podcast. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. PlayStation. I ain't got to wait for the download my games no more. Then the controller, I turned. You know me, I'm non-rumble in my controller, especially for shooters, because it just gets on your nerves. So I said, I got to give this controller, I got to give it some love. So of course I try Astrobot.
How is it?
Listen, Astrobot is more fun than you actually think it's going to be. You play Astrobot.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
Bro, I might actually beat Astrobot. It's actually like it's some repetitive dumb stuff, but it's fun.
It's fun.
It makes you want to go in. It's like, yo, what else can I do? And you really like. I thought people were just playing. We were talking about you could feel the different textures and what you're walking on, sand and stuff, bro. It's legit. It's
so
legit.
What you would say it's a good showcase of the DualSense.
Oh, it's absolutely. That's all this game is made for. This game is literally made. If they sold this game separately, they would have to sell it with a DualSense just so you could know that it's actually made for this game.
So do you think that they created this game specifically to be like a demo of the DualSense, and then also had it make it free, almost kind of like how, don't you remember back in the day, like Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt were free with the original Nintendo? you got the Wii that had Wii Sports free with it. It's kind of like the showcase, even though with Wii Sports, like no other developers really still wanted to work on the Wii like that. But it's kind of a showpiece, so to speak, the way Epic used the Gears of War franchise to be a showcase for the Unreal Engine. Because back when every single Gears that they made came out looked better visually than everything else that was out in the market. And so it was like, yo, we designed this engine to be licensed to other people, to be kind of like an easy to use but still visually aesthetically pleasing engine. It's doing marketing for you. So do you think that the Astro showroom is like a marketing tool of the DualSense for other developers to say, hey, look, we want you to use these features. We don't want you to do what you guys did with the DualShock 4, which is basically only our first party use the move controls and use the touchpad sensor. We want you to use all these features. Do you think it's like that?
No, I do think it's like that because this is the same thing we said about Xbox. How can you can't ask third party to demo the stuff that you want your system to show. Your system's supposed to be the most powerful system. Don't rely on third party to do that for you. That's what Microsoft is doing right now, where PlayStation is like, yo, our system is all about the feel. And we're not going to let third party dictate what the feel of a game should be and how this controller can revolutionize how gaming is when you hold something in your hand. And they absolutely nail that. They nail it, bro. You literally feel when you're walking across sand, you feel it. When you're walking across wood, you feel it. You walking across a slippery floor, it feels like you're walking across a slippery floor when you're controlling your character. It's really, really good in that aspect. The haptic triggers are really, really nice. I would never use them in a shooter because it's just not going to happen. But when it comes to playing games like Demon Souls or playing Spider-Man, so you can get all of the benefits of spider sense and just being able to feel the weight of your weapon and stuff, absolutely. It will be turned on for stuff like that. So I definitely think this is now, I don't know how we got to have more time with the controller. I think, Xbox has made the best controllers ever when it comes to their control. You could say 360, you could say Xbox One. I mean, their controllers are just far superior to me. But this is a really it's actually a conversation. It really just comes down to, do you like offset or do you like line at this point? Because I think the PlayStation controller brings so much to the table where it literally trounces the Xbox controller in its functionality, and it makes you want to play the game differently. And that's what a lot of people want to do in the next generation. So I think that's the biggest thing that you're going to see. But when it comes to the games, I loaded up Demon Souls and I was like, yo, this looks like it looks like a portrait mode on my TV.
Yeah.
That's how good these games look. And that's also, like I said, the biggest thing about, going back to the other conversation with Xbox, they have something that, even though when it's running at 1440p, upscaled to 4K, I can't tell.
Can't tell because it looks phenomenal.
I'm like, yo, it looks really good. It's just going to look better and better with other games that come out on the system. So my first impressions of the system, I think, are very, very encouraging to what I actually got. And I was talking to Cognito about this earlier. My biggest thing is I was more hyped for Xbox because I'm an Xbox guy. I like the Xbox ecosystem. My friends, I was hyped to jump in Destiny day one with Luca and Taz and everybody. That was my hype level for that. My hype level for PlayStation, the fact that I literally tweeted probably 12 or 14 different pictures of like screenshots of the game and, pictures with the system. Like when it comes to like wanting to show off, this system is literally that. You want people to like, look what the hell I got. This is fucking incredible. And I hope all you guys get a chance to experience this.
Sorry, language.
Oh, sorry.
Can we calm it down? This is a family friendly program, and you out here talking like a sailor.
I love it.
once every episode where your boy goes off the rails. And
it's more than it's usually about 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to mark this explicit when I drop it on Anchor. But I'm like, Cognito, what are your thoughts with the PlayStation 5? Man?
Oh man, so much to talk about. I mean, shout out to Forte. His is probably more extensive than mine because I literally just got setting it up, so my time has been very limited with it. So when I get a system, I'm a little different than everybody. I know everybody rushes to the main things, the Miles Morales, the Demon Soul. I get it. I like to save that for last. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the guy that's like tweaking the settings, making sure the visuals are fine, making sure everything is connected with my LG CX right. You know what I'm saying? And just getting basic functionality. So once I got that set up, first of all, setup was a breeze. Very easy. Again, use the app, very similar to the Xbox. Got in, was able to set up. Fairly easy, told me some things to download. I was rocking and rolling. So once I got into the UI looks very clean. It's different. If you're a PlayStation guy, you have muscle memory on where things are supposed to be as far as the bar is supposed to go. So that part's a little different. I was like, okay, where's the little, like you have the Vita, you have the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 3, that bar that scrolls the car. I'm like, where is it? Like, so I had to hit the button. I'm like, oh, okay, they move things down here. So it just took a little while. And they have this new card system with the UI, and it's really cool. Like the last thing you're doing, as well as other things in relative to the game. So I was just setting up. The funny thing, shout out to my boy Requeno. As soon as he see me on, because I guess on your friends list, if they got PlayStation 5, you'll see like a PlayStation 5 logo. So he must have seen me. He's he got it. So he sends me a party chat. And I'm gonna be real with y'all. This is my main issue with Sony consoles in comparison to Xbox. I always love the Xbox ecosystem when it comes to party chat and being social. So he sends me it, I get it. And again, I just felt the way the interface was so much better than PlayStation 4. It has this thing called like Game Hub or whatever, and it shows all your friends what they're doing, and it's just very streamlined. So when I hit it, and get this, I didn't even have my mic set up. I'm hearing my man through the controller. So I'm like, oh, hold on. I accepted this when I didn't have my mic connected. So he's like, yo, I can hear you. I'm like, what you talk about? So I'm like, oh yeah, this controller's a mic. So I'm talking into the control. I said, how do I sound? He's like, yo, you sound clear. Now the only thing I will say is his volume.
Did you blow in it?
No, I did not.
You didn't blow in it. Okay. I just want to check. Go ahead.
We ain't on that type of time with that controller. I saw them other dudes, but shout out to them. But, but at the end of the day, it's something that I laughed at was actually pretty cool. I'm like, yo, I am talking into the controller. He can hear me. So the volume isn't too loud on it. I will say that, but it's enough to get by, I guess, if you don't have a mic. So after we finished fooling around, messing around with that stuff, and then I started.
I got a question for you, real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Were you, when you were talking to your friend through the controller, were you also playing a game?
Yes.
Okay, so did he say, man, I can hear the clickety clack of all the your control? Because that's kind of like something that I kind of thought when I first saw, like when they first announced that or showed that, I was like, the first thing I thought of was like listening to a friend of mine who was then using in like PlayStation chat with me using the DualSense as his headset as well as his mic, and I'm just hearing click 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 click, just
he didn't hear anything.
This is all I'm hearing, right?
The only thing he told me is because I had my sound was coming through the TV. So yeah, maybe if I would have had the headset. No, you're right. He did hear. He was like, yo, I'm hearing myself twice. So I guess I must have not had it where voice chat would just only go through the controller or whatever, the headset. So he did hear himself
on reverb.
On the reverb, right. But I think there's a setting that I could kind of make it where it could just probably go through. But I got to check. So I forgot he did say that. But other than that, I was, again, messing with the UI, messing with all that stuff. First off the bat, started the installs, everything very fast. Downloads very fast. It's surprisingly, in comparison to the Series X, which, like I said, which was always known for very fast, downloads and stuff. definitely I noticed a huge difference. I got that going. What I did first, because again, I'm saving the best for last. I didn't touch the Demon Souls and Spider-Man, all that stuff. I'm doing that last. I wanted to see back compact games, how they would rock. So I had Tekken 7. I wanted to see how that was because I just did Tekken 7 on the Series X. I'm a big tech guy, and it was still, it didn't have any much enhancements, and I was a little upset because I think Unreal Engine, for whatever reason, they still 720 over there. I don't know what was going on, and I know the Sony one was always 1080p, but I wanted just to see the loading times. So I jumped in there. Yo, super fast. I will say I felt it was like a smidget faster. You know what I'm saying? Loading up on the PS5. So that was super impressive to me. I like that aspect. And then I picked up the Pathless. That's another game I picked up, and I wanted to see what that was. Yo, I like it. Very smooth. Shout out to the cops going by. I pay that no mind. But, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, look, the system off the top, the controller is amazing. And I am, like Forte said, I am more of an Xbox controller guy because I like the offset analogs. But I can't front. Outside of that, the PlayStation 5 controller is amazing. It just feels next gen. It's something about it. It feels right. It fits good. And in all the functionality, and like Forte said again, when you're talking next gen and new features, you know what I'm saying? It just feels like you're doing something new, something fly. Like I can't describe it. So again, not a lot of time with it. I only had about an hour, and then I jumped right into this podcast. But so far, yo, I'm very, very impressed with it.
I'm downloading the Pathless
right now. It sounds like people out here with some black Air Force Ones on and the ski mask. They out here trying to snatch and run some PS5s over where you at, man.
Yeah, they out here. So they out here.
So out of the games, okay, so let's talk about some of the things that well first question I want to ask is the downloading of games is much better now. You guys would agree when in terms to getting that done in the way it was with the PS4 UI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, something that I saw people complaining about and they had an issue with was two things. But the first one I want to talk about when it comes to UI is the folders or the lack thereof of folders.
Right.
Now, on my PlayStation 4, although now I've kind of factory reset it because I'm about to trade in to get some money off of it. But I have folders like crazy. I love folders. I have all of my games organized that way on my Xbox and my PlayStation. I put them in categories. On Xbox, it's like these are the games I'm going to play and uninstall. Like I really named the group, the pin, the games I'm going to play and uninstall, and then the games I'm never going to uninstall, and then and then I just got my regular pins for the stuff that I just want to get to quickly. On PlayStation, I had them broken up by genres. So it's like, for me, that's really important so that because I know exactly where to look for a particular game I want to play. Now, that's not there. Yeah. I don't know how many games you guys have installed.
I got a lot. Let me jump in right quick right now because this is the problem. One, the folders, I agree. I was the same way. I like everything organized, and I'm mad that that's not there. We got to talk about the elephant in the room, y'all. This listen, next gen, these hard drive spaces, bro. And it's more glaring on PS5 because it's just like, at least with Xbox, I have that mule. Shout out to the cops going by.
I mean, he just somebody going right outside the place, man. I know we podcast. Let me just keep it here. Keep it going.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, not being, first of all, these hard drives are so small, but not being able to use a 3.1 USB to, transfer stuff over, like at least with the Series X, I could do that. I could be like, okay, I'm not playing this right now. I can move you over, boom. But the fact that PS5 games are locked into this joint, like that's a problem. And here's the other thing. Like I've downloaded maybe 5 games, bro. It was like Ghost of Tsushima, the Miles Morales. Oh, did you see this weird thing where they give you the option to download the PS4 version of a game? Forte, did you ever see that?
You said it, yeah.
When I went to bought the Pathless,
yeah,
it had the PS5 and the PS4 version.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, this is weird that they even have the PS4 version there, but okay,
why
whatever.
would you want the PS4?
That's what I'm like. Why would I? Like, let me tell you the mistake I made. I downloaded 2 Miles Morales. I'm like, and both are 50 gigs a piece. And I'm like, why do I have? Why? Because I'm looking like, first of all, I went to download Days Gone because I was like, yo, 60 frame, let me download that. PS5 gave me an error. It was like, yo, you out of space, dog. I'm like, damn, already? So
already.
All right, so how many games do you have installed right now?
About 6. I got Ghost of Tsushima, Miles, and then they consider the remastered version of Spider-Man another game. Then I got Pathless. Then I got God of War, and I think Detroit is the 6th one.
Pathless is only 4 gigs.
Yeah, Pathless is small. Detroit, I mean, 7 games. Detroit, and then it's one more of a Last of Us 2.
Okay, so another question I have, because like the way I did was when my PlayStation 4, before I factory reset it, I took all the games that I still wanted to play or finish with my PlayStation 4. I moved them onto my external SATA SSD. Yeah, and I'm going to when I finally get a PlayStation 5, I'm going to connect that into the PlayStation 5 and then play it off of that, so that I can kind of save that the internal space, the very little internal space for actual PlayStation 5 games. Now, have you tried playing games off of an external yet?
I have not. I've not connected an external yet, and I've not tried playing it off an external yet. So I will say that. But the thing that again that bothers me was again that lack of drive space, and I'm just like, yo, this is a problem, and not for them ultimately to not have any type of solution at launch with this level lack. Think about all these bangers you want to play, right? And it's like, bro, you can't play them, all of them, because they don't have the SSD functionality available. So that's when it really hit me. Whereas with Xbox, I'm like, yeah, I got all this stuff, but if anything was to go over, I can move something over. Like, I'm stuck. And like I said, the last thing is I don't even know why there's an option to download PS4 Miles Morales on my PS5. Like, why do I have to take up 50 gigs? That didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, fan. And the last thing I'm gonna say, and I know I'm complaining because I do like the system, whatever, but the last thing is, one of my favorite things about PlayStation is dynamic themes. When you jump into your place, I got my Ghost of Tsushima background, the cherry blossoms is moving, the flute is playing. That was how I loaded up my PlayStation. Right?
And those are gone now.
Bro, it's not there. I was like, yo, where's it at? And my man was like, nah, they going, fam. I'm like, what? They got dynamics is going. So now when you scroll over a game, Miles Morales play a cool little beat and whatever, but there's no, like, I just feel like that's the personality of Sony. And I know it's a little thing, and I know I'm probably going in a little extra with it, but it bothers me, man. I love dynamic things. It felt like it made it my system. You see what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it. I want to know what Forte thing, as far as his little gripes or the hard drive space and stuff. Forte's in the bushes.
He must be in the butchers. Well, we did have a question from. We got a question from Sir Taz, and shout out to Taz. He wants to know. He says Godfall sitting at a 62 Metacritic. Did any of y'all pick it up?
We had this conversation.
Yeah. Hey, look. First off, I'm not gonna say I called it, but I'm gonna say I called it. Man, Godfall looked. I knew it was gonna turn out like this. And when I saw that gameplay, when they showed it at the Sony showcase, and I was like, yo, when I saw the same combo used like 4 times in that short clip, I was like, yo, this gameplay looked real shallow and shaky. And I'm like, you know what? It's just like there's something about looters where you can't just have one style of gameplay. I think just the melee, nothing but melee is an issue. You gotta have some kind of range combat, and you gotta have different styles. And I just didn't think Godfall was going to have legs, and people automatically assume, not really knowing. I get the confusion that it was Gearbox making this game, but it's not. Gearbox is publishing that game, and it's made by Counterplay Games, which is a studio that has basically not made anything before. They've been a co-development studio prior to this. Now, that said, they do have a lot of people who came from Bungie, who came from Ubisoft Division, who came from Warframe. All of it, like, they got looter shooter experience, but just not together. And I just kind of feel like this isn't it isn't what the execution of it probably wasn't the best. Now, Grant, I haven't played it yet, but I'm just basing this off of all the feedback that people are saying, and that's it. I probably will still eventually pick it up on PC, of course, as I always plan on getting it on PC anyway. But I mean, what about you guys?
You want to go, Cog, or you want me?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, you could go. I mean, we had this conversation literally before lunch.
So I literally called Cognito first thing this morning. The man wasn't even out of his bed yet. I was like, "Are you in line yet?" He was like, "Hell no, my shit pre-ordered. My stuff pre-ordered." So I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "I got a question for you." You know what I'm saying? You getting Godfall day one? He was like, "Yeah, man, you know how he always talk. Yeah, man, I don't know, man. I might have to wait on that one. You know, our Lord and Savior Phil Spencer might give it to us in Game Pass since it's gonna be a 6 month.
I see all that, but I like that.
It's only 6 months exclusivity. You know, hopefully, well, he ain't saying like he said. You know, hopefully Phil Spencer comes through and it comes through Game Pass. And I was like. He said, "Man, I don't know, man." He said, "I'm not getting it though." I was like, "Well, you just made my decision easy." I was like, that game, like I'm interested, but am I interested for $70?
Yes.
I'm not interested for $70. And then on top of that, the fact that the community that I would play that game, like I want to play that game on PC so bad, but it's gonna die.
So,
it's gonna die on PC. And I'm like, if I'm
going
to
to
play
on everything is on. I mean, I mean, honestly, I don't think it's going to have much.
Well, that's what me and Cog even said. We said even if it makes it to Xbox and still actually has a game, you know, that people want to play. You know, the only good thing is by the time it does hit Xbox, they might fix whatever issues the game has, and you know they'll add extra content to the game, so we'll actually get the finished game in 6 months. But seeing that Metacritic, I was like, nah. Seeing the person that was super hyped for the game, Cog, and knowing I would be able to play that with him over there, and that's why I call it. Because normally, you know, we gamers, we gonna buy games because we want to buy them, but that literally crossed my mind. I'm like, who am I gonna play this game with? Is Hard coming? If COD ain't coming, I'm not buying it.
Bro, I was in. Y'all know I was capping. I was in from the beginning.
I had to get confirmation before I bought.
Yeah, like I was in. It just, again, what killed it to me was, and even when Metacritics come back and they're not that great, I still don't let that affect me too much. Yeah, that did affect me. But the main thing, I ain't gonna front, that rubbed me a little wrong was I thought that was all the way exclusive, or at least a 1 year exclusive.
Yeah.
So then when I've heard now it's 6 months, and I'm like, 6 months ain't nothing. I can hold out and wait. So now you're telling me 6 months, and then, you know, it's not really rating good right now. So let's wait. Let's let it cook up. And if it get better, and then the Series X1 come out, and if that happens to be a better performing one, then okay, you know, I can get it then. But to me, it was no rush. But Forte said it best. $70. I was like, nah, y'all not getting that. Not for that.
It makes it easy when Destiny's out and we can play that.
Exactly, bro. I got tons of other stuff to play. And for me, the way I look at it, and Forte, we had this conversation, is the backlog, right? I got Ghost of Tsushima sitting there now with a 60 frames per second mode, right? I could do New Game Plus. I can do Legends now on PS5, right? Taking it to limit. I got Days Gone, which I just got for free. You know what I'm saying? In this PlayStation collection, right?
Yeah.
Boom, 60 frames per second. Let's go. And I still, because I've been waiting. I know people are going to kill me in the chat. So I'm sorry, Sword Nation. I waited on Last of Us 2, but I just had too much going on. Yeah. So now Last of Us 2 is going to be a new game for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so I'm lit. Like, I got stuff to play. So to me, it was like more so like I don't need to rush out to get Godfall, especially now it's not reviewing well, and it's only 6 months and it's going to be everywhere else. So that was my decision on that.
Yep, and the reason and shout out to Taz for saying that message. I know that would have been the game that would have made him buy a PS5. That's why he's asking that question. You know, he that's my fire team. That's looter shooter to die right there. You know, he was saying, you know, he said this game's good, I'll go over there and I'll play it like crazy. But the fact that it's reviewing like it's reviewing, the fact that none of us are going to be over there, he's like, yo, man, I'll just stay with it. And the fact that it's finally going to come to Xbox because it got leaked out, then why? Just wait at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, overall, man, it's cool system. Like I said, again, I'm still amazed at how light it is, man. That thing is light. It is like I picked it up. I was expecting this thing to weigh like a brick. Like I'm gonna do a couple of sets in the gym with this thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, this joint is nothing. Like it's cool, man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I feel like from a next gen feel. When I booted it up and stuff like that, it felt next gen, felt cool.
Wait,
yeah. Don't say what you're gonna say.
No, because I'm about to slander slow-mo real quick, but go ahead.
No, all I'm saying is, like I said, Miles Morales is gonna get touched tonight. I'm gonna see what that's about. I'm gonna get it on there, you know. And look, at the end of the day, both consoles are great. I'm super happy that we got both. It's over now. We can just now dig into these games and start playing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm like. But shout out to both of them. Like I love both for different reasons. And I will say, from a UI standpoint, love what you call is doing, what PlayStation 5 is doing. You know what I'm saying? From the quick resume standpoint, love what Series X is doing. They both offer different little unique things to the table, and they're doing things their own little way. But both of them are really, really great. And you're missing out. Like as soon as you get your hand on it slow, I know it's the minute you can get your hand on it. You know, I'm gonna try to help you out, get that joint too. You know what I'm saying? We got to get you in this next gen, bro, because both consoles are fire.
Yeah. And the one cool thing I like, they actually really identify what games work on the system and which ones don't. Like, of all the games I own on PlayStation, I only come across one game that I can't download that's PS4 related to the PS5, and that's Marvel's Avenger. That's the only one. Yeah. Because I guess they're coming out with either they have a patch coming, or
Thank you for reminding me. I got to download that. Was the game
supposed to be a free patch for Marvel's Avengers, but I don't know if Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics have said that that's live yet or not. But it's supposed to be free.
That was the game I was supposed to play. Thank you, Forte. Because they got Spider-Man exclusive over there. I got to download.
Yeah, you can't even. Yeah, because I have it digitally, and when I go to it in my library, it says it says playable on PlayStation 4. That's it. But all the other games that I have, they just say PS4 and they have the download icon. So that lets you know that those are games that are PS4 that can be played on PS5. But as of right now, the only game that I own that isn't right now is Marvel's Avengers.
Wait, so Avengers can't be played on PS4?
Not until they put the update out. The update's
I mean, you can't play at all?
No, you can't even. No, it says playable on PS4. That's it. Every other game, like
no. Have you tried to boot it up though?
Yes,
I'm gonna try that tonight.
Listen, you can't even listen. Look. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. This PS4 game is a playable PS5. More information. Go get a playable version. Oh, they charging you for it.
Don't tell Cygnus.
Listen, hold up. Let me turn the camera on.
Turn the camera on.
All right, so look, hold on. It's probably blown out a little bit. All right, you see how every other game on my screen, it just says like the little circle says PS4.
Yes.
Like in the bottom it says PS4. Well, you see what it says for Marvel?
I mean, it's a little blurry, but it's just playable.
Playable on PS4.
So try to launch it.
Try to launch it. What happened when you launch it?
PS4 game. Oh, let me go up.
Screenshot that. It said that the king. Oh, he gonna win his bet with Saul.
Yep. This PS4 isn't playable on PS5. For more information, go. So it says get the blurred out spot says get a playable version. Click on it, and over there it says 50. I'll take a screenshot of it. It says $59.99.
What is happening?
Saul's gonna give his knees up on Sunday.
I thought they said it was a free upgrade.
It's free.
I'm about to go look that up because they said it was going to be a free upgrade. Hold up.
Just take a picture of both of those screens with your camera when you get a chance and send that.
You know what I'm about to do? I'm about to join.
I didn't know about that. How nobody ain't talk about this?
Yeah, hold on. Let me.
I want that game.
No one's talking about it because no one's playing the game anymore.
That's true. Facts.
Two, they said it was going to be a free upgrade. I just looked up this Eurogamer article from June 23rd. It says Marvel's Avengers has a free next-gen console upgrade. Square Enix has announced. It means you get a free upgrade from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 or Xbox One to Xbox Series X when the consoles launch in time for Christmas 2020. So, like, they said it was supposed to be free. Now, look, maybe their rationale is they know you can't play your PlayStation 4 version on PlayStation 5. So when they come out with a patch,
Maybe
then
the
it's
patch
going
is
to be
not ready.
free.
Yeah,
So
maybe the
so
patch
yeah,
not
maybe
ready.
the patches are ready,
other-
and basically you could only just buy the PlayStation 5 version instead of playing the PlayStation 4. But I think that's kind of but I think if this game was a game that was a little bit more successful and people were still playing it, it would be a bigger deal.
Yeah, King.
But I mean, but also it's still early because like it just launched today, so maybe not enough people have actually had the opportunity to give it a shot. But that's definitely something. Hey, Saul might be coming up off them knees, man.
Yeah, that is an indictment on backward compatibility. Because King's whole thing is all I need to prove is one game don't work.
Pull my
And he thinks he wins the
other
bet.
character in slow-mo real quick.
I don't see anything to share.
You don't see it down there?
No.
Oh, I got to enter. That's why. Duh.
It's
All
just
right, I should be down there now.
There you go.
All right, so let me mute my camera.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go back so you can see it easily. So each of these games,
Yep, I see it.
You see how when you go across, so playable.
Yes.
On PS4, every other game just says PS4.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. Playable on PS4.
So this one says playable. When you click on it, it gives you this.
Wow. What does it say? Get a playable version. Yo. And then it says it's not a bin. Wow.
Spend some more money.
Is it playable on PS5? For more information.
And the game came out 2 months ago.
How is it not playable?
And then go there, and then you
click that. Yeah.
And it's like, bye.
Yo, I'm sending this podcast. I'm sending DPS podcast to King. I gotta send this to him. This is the funniest joint ever. I didn't even know about this.
That's wild, crazy.
Man.
And check this out. Big Mike just said, I know this Last of Us 2, even though I had it on my PlayStation 4. It was asking me to rebuy the game. Not The Last of Us 2. Not their
but here's the thing.
Game.
Now hold on, Big Mike. I know I'm not saying Big Mike's lying or anything. I'm just saying that I didn't attempt to play it yet, but it allowed me to download
Last of Us 2. It let me download the PS4 version for Last of Us 2.
Yeah, can you click it?
Have you been able to load it up and play it?
Yes, it lets me download it and play it.
Okay, good.
Okay, all right. So, Mike, you may have seen, maybe you did something wrong or something, or maybe there's something else going on. But definitely try to go through those steps again to make sure you can play it. I did want to, because we're getting kind of long in the night. I wanted to get to our last topic real quick. But before we do that, just kind of both of you guys just want kind of like your final thoughts on your first initial feedback or first initial impressions with the PlayStation 5. Go ahead, Cognito.
Yeah, man. Look, great system. I'm super hyped. I love what Sony's doing. Little only thing I would say is like a little kinks we just want. I just feel there are some features that I felt should have been there at launch. You know what I'm saying? That I'm like, okay, come on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that part, I'm like, I'm not gonna go to
no 1440p stuff like that.
Yeah, no 1440p. Shout out to the cops every time I'm talking.
What is I'm telling you, that cop is listening to the show, and he a
PlayStation fan. He don't like what's going on with me. But anyway, I'll keep it short before the cops get me. But like at the end of the day, I felt a couple of features I just wish were there at launch. But what is there is impressive, looks good, and like I said, I felt there's enough there to give you the feel, okay, this is next gen, this is a start of next generation kind of stuff, to get you excited about their exclusives. That part I did like.
Okay. Forte?
What was the question? Because I didn't hear when you first said it.
Just like your overall final thoughts about your first impressions of the PlayStation 5.
Look, like I said, outside of just the presentation of like Xbox blowing me away, everything else was spot on. It was everything I was expecting PlayStation to be. The everything from the interface, just getting your system set up was seamless. The fact I was very surprised at how much faster I was able to get into games on PlayStation versus last generation when it comes to installing new games. So I think that was definitely a plus. I am a little bummed on a 1440p because my monitor, I was planning on hooking up my PS4 to the monitor because I wanted to have it next to my PC. And the fact that my monitor is 1440p, that means it was going to downscale to 1080p. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to hook it up to my 4K TV. But it's not a deal breaker for me, but that's definitely an oversight, I feel. Is it going to stop me from playing the system or anybody should buy the system? No, it's just one thing that PlayStation and Sony just needs to address because they
can address that in the update.
In an update, yeah. So it'll be an update. I just think the one thing that I definitely don't like that they did is it seems like they're going to drip feed us all of the stuff that we were missing from the beginning of this generation that we had all last generation. They're literally gonna give us all this stuff back in updates that we should have had day one. And I'm not looking forward to that, but I do know that this stuff is probably more than likely going to change. But when it comes to like the system itself, I have no complaints. But Cognito, you have the digital system, right? You don't have a physical one, do you?
I have the physical.
Have you put a disc in your system yet?
Yes, I put Tekken 7 in.
And what did it sound like?
Oh yeah, it's a little loud. Yeah,
it's a little loud, bro.
Yeah. It's a little loud. I forgot about that.
It's a little loud, bro.
You know what's so funny? I'm so used to the Series X making no noise,
no sound.
So when I heard, I was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Oh, because I got a disc in." And then
This is why I want the digital.
Yeah. I mean,
all digital over here, baby. That's
fine, but it's just that you can still go all. You still go all digital on this one, but it's just the fact that. It was like, okay, so basically the disc tray just replaced the jet engine that comes out the back of your system.
It's not that loud.
It's not that loud.
Not that loud, but it's
noticeable. Yeah, it's noticeable.
Okay.
Well, all right, let me defend. Let me defend. Like in fairness, with the Series X, not that the system makes any. The system is whisper quiet, but. The new Series X controller, that D-pad is too loud.
Yo, why is the clickety clack? People say that. I've heard a lot of people say it's extremely loud.
Like I'm just imagining being a kid, and like back in the day, you were small. You're like, yo, I don't want moms to know I'm playing. You know what I'm saying? That controller's snitching you out. Like, boy, go to bed. I hear you. I hear you with the D-pad.
There you go.
That deep, they that joint.
That Series X D-pad is a snitch.
Loud. Controller's amazing. Latency. That's another thing. Latency on these.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
The latency on these controllers are amazing, bro.
Yeah.
Lightning fast, super responsive.
I will tell you, playing the game that's I will not say because Slow-Mo might kill me. Playing that game with low latency on a controller, wow. I was like, I felt myself overshooting stuff because it was like so much more responsive. The only thing that makes me not stick with that, in the first time you pick up that controller, did you pick up the new controller, Slow-Mo?
The Series X one, yes, I do. I got the Shock Blue one. I haven't taken it out the box yet.
Oh, you haven't taken out the box yet, bro. The moment you touch that controller, you're gonna be like, "Yo, this feels way better than the last iteration."
The reason why I haven't taken it out because I've been gaming on PC on a wired 360 controller.
Yeah,
I have the 360 controller. I think is just superior to the Xbox One controller, but the fact that it's wired, so it doesn't have that big bulky battery pack like bulge coming out the back. It's just like this is perfect. This is like the perfect controller. So I have yet to, even though I've been playing games like Road Company and stuff, even after I got the control, I've yet to give it a shot. Yeah, but I'm definitely, if it's really good, I'm probably going to be like switching off back and forth between them because I really want to use that share button because I got they somehow with the 360 controller on PC, if you hit the big like glossy silver X in the center, it will bring up the game bar. but
Yeah, it will.
it's just not very intuitive. But yeah, I'm gonna get to it eventually.
Yeah, open it up. Because shout out to Gregor. He said that the update to the engine has made the game more responsive. And you're right, and that's what kind of it makes it hard to like kind of say what's the controller and what's the update in the engine. But just holding the controller is way better. The triggers, the texture grip on it, the share button is really easy to use. But I will not give up my Elite controller. I'm not. I can't do it. As much
Only
as
thing though, you gotta wait until next year.
You gotta wait till next year for the firmware. Y'all had him on. He was talking. He said it's actually going to be there sometime next year. So you will be able to get it. But the cool thing is, if you got an Elite controller, you can map the share button to one of the back paddles, and you can still get that same functionality. But you just won't have the low latency, which does make a difference. But yeah, that's the only thing. But outside of that, man, PlayStation, they knocked it out the park with this system. They have the games, they have the ecosystem built in right now. The instant game collection, bro.
Yeah, that's so
all you gotta do is have a PlayStation 5 and you have PlayStation Plus, and you literally
and you got like a dozen,
20 games.
20 games. Yeah, 20
and
really good games.
Yeah, really good games. 20 really good games. And they are right there on your system, and all of them are playable right there on your PS5 with all that stuff. Now, I do have a question because I didn't do this yet, Cognito. Do we have to turn like when we load up PS4 games, do we have to do anything special, or do we have? I know is it like boost mode, like how it was on PS4? Do we have to?
That's a good question.
Do we have to turn that on?
I didn't deep dive into the menus on that yet, because I know with PS4 we always had to kind of deep dive and make sure, you know what I'm saying, whatever it was there. But I gotta finish because I was more focusing on the video file aspect, just to make sure the 4K to 120. Oh, shout out to Ghost of Tsushima. Oh my lord!
Oh yeah, please tell.
Oh my lord! I do that. 60 frames on that, and in the cinemas with now the performance mode does something.
Oh lord,
bro!
I'm downloading that right now.
Mind blowing. I was like, it looks amazing. That was the first joint I threw on from the second joint I threw on as far as the PS4 games. I can't wait to take a look. I want to see like what God of War is looking like. I ain't got to that yet, but Ghost of Tsushima, 2 thumbs up. Throw your cherry blossoms up. They out here. That 60 frames is really moving out there. I got to do Last of Us 2, and I got to do God of War yet. But yeah, it's super impressive.
Yeah,
that's that's it. That's it.
No, I was just saying. What I say?
Time. We got one more topic, and we already at 2 hours.
The last thing I want to
say. It's like an ILP.
10 seconds. Go.
No, I said that's the one thing I want to say that Xbox got right. The fact that you could just load in and your stuff automatically does it for you, whereas on PlayStation, we're still trying to figure out like, okay, what does this game do, and how does it benefit me? Does it even benefit the PS4 version? We don't know yet because it hasn't been really explained yet. But go ahead, Slobo.
All right. So last topic. It seems like and I shout out to something that Dizzy just said. And I'm actually going to highlight it, and I think it kind of sums up both of you guys' comments all together. And what a lot of people are saying is that, as he said, from what I've seen from both companies knocked it out the park. Lots of happy fans all around, and that's what we want to see. We want to, you want to see gamers happy about getting new hardware to play their games even better than they played before, or new games to play. And that's what it's all about. Now we're gonna get into kind of some of the funny stuff. So Digital Foundry dropped a video. When did they drop this video? Was this yesterday?
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. So they dropped probably the first comparison video that we've seen for next generation with Devil May Cry Special Edition, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. And so real briefly, I'm going to go over what was. Wait a minute. Whoops, that was the wrong one. Go over what was spoken of and shown, and so it looks like what we're getting here is one. I was shocked that both, for the most part, out of I was shocked for a couple things. First thing I was shocked about was that there were so many different modes to play.
Yes.
I was shocked at that. I was like, wow, there's a lot of modes in this. And that almost kind of reminded me of like what you get on PC. Except, you know, you get way more like, you know, options and features to toggle, graphical settings to change around with. But the fact that they had like more than just a performance mode or a visual mode was really promising. The second thing I was shocked about is that most of the modes are running at higher than 60 frames per second.
Yes.
And that really like now we don't know where like they didn't get into the minutia of like, well, is ambient occlusion on ultra like it is on PC, or is it just on medium or low? I'm pretty sure they had to figure out the best way to make sure their frame rate was high. But I love the fact that Capcom actually made sure that, hey, regardless of which mode we go with, that we're going to make sure that frame rate is up there. And I think the only one that wasn't so high was, and I'm going to actually go to, I think the ray tracing quality mode was the only one that struggled to stay at 60 frames per second. And I think, and it was like that for both of them. But what I thought was very interesting is it seemed that in normal mode, the Xbox Series X had a slightly higher frame rate.
Right.
But they all seem to all run at the same resolution. But it had a slightly higher frame rate in normal mode and in ray tracing performance mode and in ray tracing quality mode. But then in high frame rate mode, the PlayStation was like far ahead of the Series X. So I thought, I mean, that was kind of like a somewhat of a different result than we're used to seeing from last gen, where the Xbox Series X, it was always a hierarchy. It was the Xbox Series, not I said Xbox Series X. The Xbox One X would be like the best performing, and then right under it would be the PS4 Pro, and then right under that would be the PlayStation 4, and then last would be the regular Xbox One. Now it seems like there's a lot more. It's a lot more competitive when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, what were you guys' thoughts about this? Go ahead, Cognito.
Yeah, I mean, kind of the same thing. I mean, obviously we saw the modes. It's the first time. First of all, shout out to John Lennon and Richard Levin. I love listening to them talk about breakdown. Now you know you in trouble when Richard says, and the results are quite outstanding. They're quite remarkable. And then they do a little laugh, a little chuckle, and I'm like, somebody's not doing something. Right, that's the first thing I thought when I heard, we're quite remarkable. It's very surprising what we saw here. And I'm like, all right, so we get to it and we talk about the regular mode and stuff like that. And just everything you said, Slow. For the most part, in the majority of the modes, yes, the Series X is like a slight advantage frame rates wise, in most of these modes. Now, when it came, I believe it was, it was the high performance mode. Excuse me.
Yeah, the high frame rate mode. High frame rate mode is where it was a huge
difference. And that's when we saw the PS5 kind of take the lead there, substantially. And that part was surprising. They even seemed surprised by it. They were like, they just couldn't figure out what it was. And then, based on the pure beef of the system, they thinking it should handle that. So, I mean, again, it's one game. I don't know really what to make of it because I don't develop games. I will say this, just based on that, even though the Xbox Series X in the majority of the modes outperformed it, I do feel it's a victory for PlayStation in this particular matchup, only because I'm like, they're kind of punching above its weight with, like, they're very close in the modes that Xbox is over it, right? Yeah. Now, when that performance mode, I was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to get too crazy with this because one, it's Capcom. Two, we need to see more games, you know what I'm saying? Other developers and stuff. And then three, it's early. I want to know if there's a patch of stuff, but if I want to just if I gotta stand tall on it and be honest, from that first impression of watching that comparison, in my mind, I feel the PS5 looked good coming out of that because I felt like they could say, "Hey, we're right there," and look, in our performance mode, we're doing this. Now it's up to the Series X if there's some type of patch that didn't, is it a Titanfall situation? Remember when Titanfall 2 came out in the beginning, and it was like, yo. PlayStation Pro is beating it or whatever. And then, you know what I'm saying? It was one of them situations where, okay, and remember, I think Ledbetter and them was like, yo, we're very surprised why this is not happening. And, you know,
right.
And then like literally a day later, a week later, the patch came in and then boom, it was what it was. So I don't know if it's that type of scenario, but I can only judge by what
a similar situation happened with Resident Evil 3 remake, where it was they were shooting for and I think all the targeting native 4K on the Xbox One X was really a mistake, in my opinion, just because it's all about game engines, and each engine is different, and then also taxes hardware differently based upon how much memory it needs to do what it needs to do to show assets, to render the environment, yada yada yada. And so when you have different engines that have very vastly different implementations, you're going to have to draw back in some areas. And the RE engine is a beautiful engine, but at the same time, it's not easy on the hardware. So like going native 4K like that was just unnecessary. Now, if you got like Fortnite, all right, go to native 4K. It's Fortnite. Like look at like the number of pixels being used per character is nowhere near what you're using on RE engine per character. But then, you know, it's just like you gotta be smart about it. They eventually, I think they dropped it down to like 1800p for a Resident Evil 3 remake, and that allowed them to do 60 frames per second. It's like, yo, you should have sold this earlier, you know, before it came out and people got disappointed.
Right.
So
Actual.
Right. My bad. Continue, man.
No, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'll give it to Forte. I won't go too long to it. But look, I love this stuff. I geek out over all this stuff. So it's the first comparison. It's like the heavyweight matchup. This is what we want to see. You know what I'm saying? So it's the first game. You know, as these games continue to come out, we're going to get more and more information. As these developers get a hold of this tech, we're going to start to see. I think it's early, but it's good to see, just to try to form opinions early about, you know, both pieces of hardware, what they're capable of. We're trying to get data right now. I think we're in the data acquiring phase, and this is the first game as a test. We can get a little data on each of them, and we're going to get more games, and we're going to start formulating more opinions on what both systems can and can't do.
Right. Forte, how do you feel about it, man?
Okay, so let's rewind this podcast 30 minutes when I said this same thing. This is the problem Microsoft has when they allow third party to try to show off what their system's capable of. Yeah. Because, you know, by proxy, they're letting Capcom do it right now. You know, this is what happens when
they don't have a first party game that
does it for you.
Right.
You don't have anything out there to show. No, this is what performance on our system at the absolute best can look like. But now that we got this comparison from them, we can't dispel any of that, because it's like, yo, this is factual proof.
Meanwhile, Sony has Miles Morales,
and they have something that can literally show off what their system technically can do. Facts. So for me, the first thing, okay, so no cap, for me when I saw this, I was like, both of these versions of this game look buggy as hell. I was like, looking at this, like,
they don't look like a good game. I agree. I mean, graphically,
looking at this, and Slow-Mo, you probably can agree with this. Being a person that played on PC, seeing my frame rate jump like that and drop like that and move like looking like it's on a slip and slide ain't good. When I saw that, I was like,
it's very erratic, and I think console gamers are going to start to see why PC gamers tend to like always are looking to improve their builds in some way, because like you start or like what I did recently where I overclocked my CPU. Like I went and bought a new cooler, and shout out to Meds for, you know, kind of like, you know,
shout out to the homie,
giving me some ideas of which air cooler was good enough to really handle an overclock of a i7 9700K. But like it's you always want to improve your build so that to kind of minimize the amount of jitter that you deal with, the amount of times where your frame rate goes from 80, 85, 60, 65. It's just like it's really jarring, and it's not as bad when it's lower, when it's like under 60, where it's like where it goes from 40 to 50 to 55, like that, like it's you would like think like, where is my game about to crash or something? But when it's higher, when you see it go from 90, 100, 110 back down to 90 again, it looks jittery. it looks
Yep.
like there's something not quite right with the animations. It still looks better than playing it at 30 frames per second. Don't get me wrong, but it still looks weird. And you see, look at this ray tracing quality mode here. Like this is like, I would not recommend anyone play Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition in this mode.
No.
60, and look, it just went from 46 to 55. Like that's just, that's not. You may be, really enjoying that ray tracing at its highest fidelity, but then as you're seeing characters trying to speak, and it's like their mouth is twitching all kind of weird ways, and it's like, and when you're attacking enemies, and it's like it's almost like the smoothness is completely gone because it's going all over the place. That's not cool. No one like.
That's why, shout out to Cassidy in the chat, just want to interrupt. That's why VRR is so important. And I believe why, what's funny is I think it was Ledbetter had said it during the joint. He was just like, it's very interesting to see things that not even VRR can save it right here. So again,
he did say that. Yeah,
that's a developer thing. Like to me, that's how I take it. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like Forte, I'll give it right back to you, Forte. Like you said, Microsoft is at the mercy of Capcom's development skills because they don't have their first party game to really showcase what they need to talk. I mean, as far as what this system could do, but continue for it.
And that's literally what this whole conversation is. It's like, to me, being a person that lives in both ecosystems, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yo, this is terrible optimization. Yes. You can't tell me that this game, like, look, this is shout out to PC for having locked frame rates. Because literally, if this was happening in my game, I would find what frame rate I drop to at the absolute lowest and lock it there.
But here's the thing, and this is an indictment now on the PS5. If you listen to it, he basically said, at least with the Series X, you can take off the 120 so that it's not jumping all over the place.
Not jumping all over the place.
But with the PlayStation, apparently they are locked into 120, and that surprised me. I didn't know that. I didn't know.
That was a very weird choice. I don't know why they decided to do that.
Yeah, I don't know either. But overall, like I won't be playing this game again. I already played it in ray tracing on, not ray tracing, but I already played this on PC, and I'm not doing it again. But I don't care if the game's only $30. But looking at this performance, I'm like, yo, they thought this was good enough to say, we're gonna let y'all play with this jittery game all over the freaking place. Like the moment that one game literally shoots at 120 frames per second and drops to 50 the next frame, I'm like, you're literally losing half the information.
I don't think that happened.
Yes, it did.
In this video,
yes,
it was. I don't know if it was 50, but it was some start.
It was a substantial drop, like 30 to 40 frames.
That's
drop.
more than half of the 120 to 50
to like 40,
would
70,
would make you like jump in your seat as you just like, wait, but what the heck is that? Like when we talk about, for console guys that don't know what we're really talking about, there's always going to be a little bit of jitter. It's never going to stay like, well, not never. You will get those. If you want to lock your frame rate, you can just do that. Like lock it at 75, 80, 60, whatever you want to lock it at, 120. But every now and then, like if you don't have it locked, if you have it unlocked frame rate, you're going to see it. And when it's the stable build and you got your settings just right, you can see it go anywhere between like a plus or minus of like 5 frames. It's fine.
Yep, same.
Yeah,
that's fine because you're not going to notice that. It's too much. It's too little of a difference for you to notice, and it won't affect the smoothness of the animations and gameplay. But when it is jittering between like 15 to 20 or more, that's when you're like, man, all right, let me just go in the settings and just put a max frame rate cap on this.
Right, a max frame rate.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I think the 60 hertz mode is going to be the best way to play the game, because it looks like it can literally hit that with the limitations that they have in the build. But I'm like, right now, I'm looking at this 120 hertz gameplay, and I'm just watching it just like it's not smooth.
Yeah.
But that's how I mean, no, like people are going to sit here and say, well, you guys are just saying that because PlayStation is beating Xbox and Xbox is supposed to be the more powerful system. No, what we're basically saying is because we play even outside of just playing on consoles, we play on PCs, and we see this all the time. And if you don't understand what you're looking at, this is going to be this is the undiscovered country for console gamers. Right now, you're in the undiscovered country right now. Shout out to episode 4 of Star Trek. But that's what this is for people. You're going to finally get a chance to see what better than 30 frames per second looks like, but you're also going to see what a bad 60 frame port is going to look like, because if they don't optimize for 60 frames per second, you're going to be seeing a whole bunch of stuff happening on the screen that you ain't going to never seen before.
Right. Yeah. Now that said, like, if you're a console gamer and you never played a game higher than 60 frames per second, you're probably
you're gonna be in love.
Yeah, you're gonna be in love with this. Your mind's gonna be blown. You're gonna be like, what are these PC guys talking about? This ain't that big a deal. But then let a year pass.
Yep.
And as your eyes adjust to, because look, this happens to everybody that goes from console to PC. You go to your mind gets blown. Then you try to go back to console at 30 frames per second, and you can't do it.
Nope, can't do it.
You guys are going to be like a lot of PC gamers, where a year from now you're going to be looking at like some of these comparisons. You're going to be seeing a game that's coming out and it's like, wait a minute, it did below 60? It did what? Nah, they need to fix that. You're not going to be that filmic talk is going to be in the bushes. It's gonna be gone. There ain't gonna be no more filming.
You're right.
It's gonna be no one cares about that. We want that visual fidelity, and we want that minimum 60 frames. It's what we want. So, but let's go ahead and wrap it up. I know we've been a little bit long one. This might have been the longest episode of DPS we've had, but it's been a good one because we've had our boy, Mr. Lord Cognito over here. Mr. Cognito, tell us where we can find you, man.
Appreciate y'all, man. First of all, shout out to y'all, DPS, man. I love watching your journey, the chemistry you two have, the jokes, the camaraderie. It's just true brotherhood, and I love to see it ever since when you guys debuted on Brat. But I told him, I'm like, man, those two got something right there, man. So it's good to see you guys getting, making your foot, getting your bones down and doing your thing too. So salute to y'all for inviting me. I had to show love the minute I could. But yeah, man, y'all know me at Lord Cognito on Twitter. You already know every Sunday, the Lord's Day, Sunday, 11 a.m. We will be in the building doing that same thing, next gen talk, you know what I'm saying? Our impressions and stuff like that. We might have some guests pull up, just to say, give their thoughts on both sides, both camps, and express, and impressions and stuff like that. No last word tomorrow because me and E are in the bushes with just playing the game. And,
yes, sir.
And I'm behind, bro. Like I did, you saw me. Matter of fact, no, I was with Scream. And shout out to Wilhelm Scream and shout out to Sin. I was doing the Loot Cave hustle, the Lost Sector hustle before they got us out of there. So I'm good on the 1200, but now I just gotta play the campaign. So I'm so behind. That's the thing. It's like with 2 next generation console launches, a new Destiny expansion, you know what I'm saying? All these fly new games, and I'm on vacation. I still ain't got time to play everything and do everything. So no last word this week. He talked about it last night, but we'll get back next week with stuff like that. And then also shout out to lordsofgaming.net, man. Really support their team, the writers, everybody's doing their thing, man. Salute to them. I appreciate you guys sharing and retweeting the articles and stuff like that. And stay tuned, man. We got more stuff cooking. We got some more fun stuff cooking, hopefully for the end of the year and next year. And I appreciate the support from both of y'all, man. Y'all always show ILP love. So much love to y'all. And stay up with y'all videos. I'll be liking y'all videos too.
Absolutely.
Hey, no problem at all. And since we thank you, man. So glad to have you on. Like it's wasn't a question. I was like, I asked Forte, I was like, hey, you want to have Cog on? I was just like, why am I even asking? I already know you want to have him on. But yeah, definitely appreciate all the support you guys provide. And yeah, we're gonna keep rocking with the videos. And since we mentioned videos, Forte, tell us what you got in the pipeline, man.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, Cognito already know how I feel about him, man. He's one of the best in this community. Literally a leader of men when it comes to the stuff that he does on his shows and just the life that he lives. And the group of guys that you have on that podcast with you are second to none. And I truly appreciate everything you guys bring to the community, and just word spoken and in your show on every Sunday. So make sure y'all keep doing that, man. But outside of that, man, Slow-Mo knocked it out the park. One of the best intros I've ever heard Cognito ever get. Let's go. Shout out to that. But it's
I can't see me, bro. Right now I'm brushing my shoulders off.
But outside of that, it's Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, and PlayStation. Because your boy did change his name in preparation for. Got it all changed over. So PlayStation 5 on deck. Gaming Forte over there too.
Uniformity. Let's go.
Yeah, man. So I will be doing videos on my impressions on all of these systems because a lot of people are probably going to want to know. I won't be on any podcast this week because your boy been working like crazy.
Wow. Wait, repeat that?
Listen, I missed Crossfire yesterday. I missed Crossfire yesterday. I missed the Brat show.
Crossfire is tomorrow.
No, Crossfire was yesterday too, sir. They had one yesterday. They had one for Xbox yesterday. And
I guess I was too busy trying to find a console. My bad.
Right. Well, like I said, Brap pushed their show to Saturday. And then Crossfire. No, actually, I did Boom show at the beginning of the week. That's the only one I did outside of this one.
Me too. Yeah, we did Boom. That's right. Yeah, that's
we
it.
Both did Boom show.
Because I wasn't gonna do no podcast, but I was like, with Slow Him, I said, I gotta do DPS.
And then tomorrow night, I don't think it depends if I get out of work early enough. I might, but more than likely, I probably won't make Crossfire tomorrow. And I know I'm not gonna make Brat because of the whole weekend thing. So it's gonna be a lot of stuff. So I'm basically taking it in stride, but all of that stuff will come back to you next week when it comes to being on all the different shows and stuff like that. Yes, but definitely got to get these videos out here, man, because shout out to the people that got these systems, man. It was fun helping you guys. I felt a sense of worth doing it because people been reaching out to me, asking me opinions and stuff. And, you don't understand how much it feels to actually feel like you're wanted by people.
Oh, bro, yeah.
Dog, it truly humbled me to know that just random people would DM me like, yo, what's your advice on this? What's your advice on that? And people that I never knew who I was reaching out to me. So
you saved me today. They took my connect and they took my all the stuff that you said. I was like, yo, Forte hooked me up. Every advice you gave me.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody, man. And I hope if you didn't, even like Slow-Mo, if you guys didn't get a system, don't give up. Systems will be available. You just got to persevere. Unfortunately, GameStop will have systems in store on Black Friday. So that will be the next time. I can guarantee you will have an option to walk into a store and get one. Outside of that, we're all at the mercy of F5 right now. But other than that, we'll see you guys next week, man. Great show as always. I really appreciate you coming through, Cognito.
Always.
Make sure King sees this episode because it's going to be lit on Sunday.
I just sent him the word, and I told him as soon as the recording's over, I'm going to get him the link to the URL so he can review, and I'll give him the timestamps when you showed what you showed.
There we go.
It's all good, man. I just wanted to announce a nice little milestone for myself. I am officially over 750 subs now. I'm at total of 754, so that's 3/4 of the way to the goal of 1,000 subs. So we moving on up, we getting there. Woo! I appreciate everybody.
Speaking of the slander, before you move on, I forgot to slander you. You posted in the chat that Bug Snacks is going to be at 1,000 when you get a PS5, but you can play it on PS4.
That is besides the point.
You said you can wait to PS5. No, you got a PS4 in your house.
Let's be real here. It would be pretty wild if I hit 1,000 subs before I finally land a PlayStation 5. Like that would be pretty ridiculous. But fine. If I hit 1,000, I still don't have a PS5. I'll play it on PS4.
All right.
Okay.
I saw that tweet. I saw that chat, and I was like, huh? You got a PS4, bro. You got to make this happen, bro.
Hey, well, actually, it might be gone tomorrow, but we'll figure it out.
I'm not going to tell you not to trade.
To have a PS5.
I'm not going to tell you not to trade your system, sir. So if you don't have a system, then you're off the hook. But I trust you as a friend
Oh
to
my
not
gosh,
lie
here
to
we
me
go.
when you hit 1,000 and you actually got that system sitting there.
Well,
you
look,
hadn't streamed.
I will be a very happy gamer when I finally get the PS5. So you'll know I'll have it when I get it. But
There it
anyway,
is.
regardless, look.
All right.
I hit 750. I'm at 754 right now. I just want to thank everyone that has subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate every single one of you, and even the ones that give me slander on every comment of every video. I appreciate you guys too. Just thanks for you guys just watching and hopefully enjoying the content. I also want to just like really happy about the Anthem video I did earlier this week. Well, actually, I think it was last weekend, but the Anthem video I did is up to 2,600 views in just a short amount of days. So pretty nice. I think it's been going well, and I appreciate all the support from you guys, and hope you guys are enjoying your consoles regardless of which platform you bought them on. Play your games, enjoy your games, and leave the console war nonsense where it needs to be.
Facts.
You guys have a great night. Love you guys. Peace out.
Peace.